sure hope it does.
Betty! Suppity. How are you, babe? Oh, shit. Try to relax your anus. See, it's not as fun when I do it now because it's actually me. Hello! Hi! Welcome to me and my pimple. How we doing? Your guess is Sway. Today's curse chat, slow grinds is how you ended up with 5 babies. Slow it down. All right, I'm assuming that's targeted at Lid. I know, right? It's a shocker. I called it a third eye earlier today. I only noticed it today, actually. It was probably there yesterday, and I didn't even notice. How are you, Steph and Betty? What's crack-a-lackin'? Hey, anyone, if you're lurking. I'm back. I'm 4 hours late. Yes, I am. Can't complain. Awesome. You can. I mean, if you want, give it a go. I'll be your soundboard. Oh my God. So, I went to see a friend. I've come back. Buddy did really good. Did a night away. And now he's passed out because I'm assuming he didn't sleep all night. I wonder what he's like. I wish I had a camera that I could... I mean, he's a dog at the end of the day. Like, it's, you know, what can you do? He's a dog. But I'm kind of curious. Oh! What? Does that mean treat? Is that what that means? Let's have a look at the boy. How you doing? You doing good? Yeah. You're my big boy, aren't you? Oh, did I? Oh. I shall get a treat, Steph. Fan yourself. Ooh. You're lucky, Steph. I've got shorts on. All right. You ready? It's from Steve. He's a good boy. Check him out. I mean, what do you want from me? It's like, they're there all the time. Thank you, Sarah. Just for you, babes. Hey, Steph's wife. I'm sorry. We're just, it's fun. I promise it's just fun. All right. Please don't come for me. I'm so frail. I wouldn't be able to defend myself. You gotta keep him thinking that, you know. And that's when you suck him. That's when you get him. Teeth are particularly yellow on stream today. That's cool. It's a good thing about having a hypercolor set is that the camera assumes that my teeth are yellow instead of white. So it's a vibe. It's a vibe. How's everyone been? I haven't seen you since Saturday. Sorry about Tuesday. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to withhold Lid from you. I just couldn't stream. But I hope you're all well, and I'm sure Lid's gonna take over on Saturday if they're around. Let's be honest. We're gonna do some stuff, some arty crafty stuff today to soothe my brain, and I think we'll do some drawing. And I think I actually want to play with some clay first, because I'll show you what I want to copy. That's right, copy. Treat. Is it good? Okay, cool. That's from Steve. Check this out. This is just a little crocus palm or whatever. With parlor palm. Parlor palm. A chemadoria. Or chemadoria. Sorry. That just gives you a little insight as to what working with me is like. Look at this little shroom, though. Are you seeing the shroom? It's so fucking cute. Look at them. It's just with a, like, it's a stick. That's a stick from the yard. And a little clay boy on top that's just been hand painted. But that's real clay. And I don't have a kiln. So we're gonna probably use my clay. That's for children. And you can oven bake. And it's colored. And I thought maybe we could do some pink mushrooms with little white dots on them and some orange ones. I think I pretty much only have black, white, orange, and pink. I don't have any greens, unfortunately. But how cute! And then I'm assuming they just, because it moves a little bit, like I'm assuming it's just super glued at the end there. I don't want to like pull it, but it's so cute. So why don't we copy these? And make some cute ones. I wish I had red. I can't do red mushrooms, unfortunately. But I do have clay. How do you stabilize clay? Like real clay. It has to go in the kiln, right? I wonder if I could just put it in the oven at a low temperature for like a day. Because I need the gas bill. It is cute, right, Betty? I like it too. I'm gonna sit cross-legged. Excuse me. Oh, that's the shit. That's the shit right there. Has anyone done anything creative recently? Also, I have a couple of videos that I want to watch, so I might flick into Lurky and watch them. Hey, Lids! What's crack-a-lackin'? Look at this mushroom. I'm gonna copy this today. This is like a little clay mushroom with a real stick stuck in its butt. How are you, Lid? How's your thrust master treating ya? Look at this thing. It's so cute. So I'm just trying to figure out whether to use my polymer clay and make some in the oven, or whether or not I could use actual clay, because I have actual clay. How cute is it? Oven won't get hot enough to crystallize it. Okay. And also it's going to be in a plant, so it needs to be watertight. Does that make sense? Maybe I'll just do, well, not watertight. Like I can just take it out and water the plant. But it would be great if it didn't return back to a clay form. You haven't had any time for mastering the thrust yet. Tonight though. Woo! Look out, ladies. Oh. That will be fun. Please stream it. Peter Griffin.
Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Are you going to tell me about how to gain followers? Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Whoop whoop. I'm going to get Liddy. We haven't gotten Liddy in a while, and I think I'm going to play with some clay. That's the vibe. And then I might do some drawing because I've got a backlog. I managed to file. I did some work on yesterday. Wow, that was yesterday. I did some work on yesterday and got a bunch of my illustration, both reference photos and scans of my actual pieces I've done into a drive so that I can start pulling them onto my website and on socials. I also, check out, I did a little pair back of the website. I'll show it to you. I'm just that kind of girl, you know? Oh, why am I in double screen? I just realized. I'm using too many monitors. There we go. How's that bass though? Why is my head chopped up? Well, that's doing something to me. Where is face cam? Oh, there. Why is it there? What is it about that? It's like, it's going like this. It's the wobble. Womp, womp. There we go. Check it out. So I paired it right back to my paths are you either go to illustrations or you go into Eggy Boys. Petey, what's up? Haven't had time for mastering. That's not what I've heard. Oh, really? Your 5 children would beg to differ. All right, everyone. We're going to guess today's curse chat. We've got a few people in. Welcome in. How are you, babe? It's all lies, Petey. Yeah. I've heard it. Yeah, no. What is today's chat? Who said Slow grinds is how you ended up with 5 babies. Slow it down. Who said it? We're all assuming it's about Lid. I think it's about Lid. Who said it? We had votes for Sway in chat. This has Sway written all over it. The punctuation and grammar, not the grammar, just the capitalization. I'm worried that it's not Sway, unless Sway was drunk, and that's always, you know, that's always a possibility. Me? Never. Well, let's see who it was. Where's the white box? Oh, there it is. Oh, it was fucking Betty. Would you look at that? Betty said, slow grinds is how you ended up with 5 babies. Slow it down. It was fucking you, dude. It was actually you. Hello, welcome in. It's just me and my pimple presenting today, no Lid. Sorry again for the missed stream on Tuesday. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. But check out this website though. So I've just got my little social, got my Insta, we've got email, we've got 3 photos on repeat just showing some basics, but obviously I can add to this. We've got Eggy Boys. Eggy Boys! I gotta do some, I kind of got sick of it. I got to like 4:35 p.m. I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I'm done. Mentally, I want to get up off this couch and walk around. So I've just done it so it works, but I'm gonna play with this a little bit more. But this is the kind of vibe. And then we've got drawings for my commissions. Yeah, and that's it. Keeping it chill. Oh, and a little contact. Oh yeah, forgot about the photo. Hit me up. Fucking, what is this mix?
In 2013,
Oh,
Jeff
fucking
Bezos...
shut up, Bezos. That's one of the videos I want to watch. It's about how drones failed. Damn, look at that hair. I know. She was a different woman. That was taken, that photo there was taken at this place here before it closed. It was the best fucking one of the best clubs I've ever been to. I was absolutely off my face in a good way. Permanently closed. See that shit? Permanently closed. I got in. Oh my god, there's reviews. We have to read the reviews. Really awesome, proper dark vibes. Went on house music night, was great. Music was primarily deep tech, minimal, lots of room to dance. Dark, that's one thing. And in the middle of the room, I'll see if there's a photo. In the middle of the room, there's like 1 star, racist at the entrance. If you do speak Dutch, you have less chance. Well, bitch, maybe, sorry. Maybe it was your personality. That's awful. Okay, that was awful. Hopefully that's why it closed, because there were racists running it and they were like, no racists, only deep house. Blotto. Yeah, exactly. This is it here in the middle. There's like a platform and you can just go up and sit on lounges in the middle of the room and look down on this fucking warehouse beneath you, just pumping. And there's a bar up there. There it is. Check it out. Anyway, that's where that photo was taken. I don't know why I would have been covering my eyes. There it is. Look at this platform. Can you see this? So like this whole thing here, this whole shot is suspended up in the air, like 10 meters. Like it's huge up off the air. There's these huge stairs that go up to it. And you can just chill in here while you're like having a little downtime, get a drink, sit on the cush, you know, and then go back to absolute debauchery downstairs, this is showing it very light. It's not this light. It's very dark. Anyway, there it is. That's accurate. It's a sick club. I'm very glad that I got to see it. They weren't woke enough, exactly. You can't be doing that. Anyway, so if you know anyone that wants any drawings done, if you have a birthday for a friend coming up that you would like a memorable photo recreated in this style, I'm absolutely available. So hit me up if you do want. I would love to do more drawings like this. This one here was done that's a commission. You can tell immediately because the crop's a bit different. But that one of Mona Castle Hotel was for someone wanted to get it for their friend's birthday, remember? And they loved it, which was really cute. I was so happy. Anyway, let's play with some clay. I hope everyone's having a good day. That's where to go, if you weren't sure. I remember when I bought that domain, I had a dad email me and asked me to buy it from me. And I said, no. He was a real dad that blogged. And I was like, mate, come on. That's not what this name is for. All right, write soccer mum. It'll be funnier. Too late, sucker. Yeah, sucked in dad, too late. Exactly. Should have gotten pregnant a little bit sooner. Typical dad, yeah. Oh, all right. Let's play with our hands. I kind of want to watch this. It's 18 minutes. Do you guys want to watch a little... Do you want to watch this with me? It's called... Drone Delivery Was Supposed to Be the Future, What Went Wrong by Wendover Productions. And I'm kind of interested. This is the kind of shit I watch in the background. Logistics, architecture, creepy stories. Shark Tank. You want to watch it? You started watching Black Books? Stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. For the first time? Fuck me. Two seconds. Okay, let's talk. Favorite vibe so far? What are we thinking? Do we like Fran? Fran comes off a little funny at the start. Ooh, I'm so excited. Where are you up to? Where are you up to? Where are you up to? I saw an ad for this remeltable silicone stuff for molds, and I'm like, do I need a new craft interest? Surely yes, is the answer, Petey. Oh my God. Remeltable silicone stuff for molds. How interesting. How very interesting. So I could mold anything with it? Just the first app. Yes! Oh my God. So Bill Bailey isn't even like, Manny isn't even, oh my God. Have a drink. The mind is currently boggling. Crazy. Remeltable silicone lid. His assistant? Well, if you watch the first ep, I don't know. I think maybe that could be something that maybe happens. I don't know. I wouldn't want to. Yeah, have a drink while you're watching it. It's definitely, I think it's a happenstance. What was that? Sorry, I just remember something. You know when you half remember something? You're like, that was a funny moment, but I can't remember what it was. So, that's okay. Yeah, usually the silicone is one and done. This one you cut it up and remelt it. Fair, dude. Morning, McCaskey! Oh, you wrote happenstance. Think of all the replicas I can send. Oop, hit the cam. All the replicas I can send you. How are you, McCaskey? Welcome in. Mr. Books. Mr. Books. Who's going to hire him as his bookkeeper? It's kind of obvious. Well, I don't know. Will he become a bookkeeper? I guess we'll just have to watch and find out. Ooh, I'm so excited. What is that? Hang on. Before we watch anything, let's watch that Dylan Moran sketch where he's like, you know, and before you come at me, I called him Dylan Moran for like 10 years before I watched an interview and he introduced himself as Dylan Moran. And I was like, oh, I have not done the correct thing. Let me see if I can isolate the exact.
All this aggression is terrible, actually. You see that everywhere. People have, you know, you think you're mad at the ocean and twilight would be dwindling.
Yes, this is it. Okay. We're chilling. There are 10 comments on this, but there's 98,000 views. What? That usually indicates bots, but it can't possibly because I'm not going to comment. Let's be honest. Here we go. A little Dylan Moran.
All this aggression is terrible, actually. You see that everywhere. People have, you know, you think you're mad at the other motorist in that case. Probably something else. You know, it's probably something in your own past. Probably, I don't know, mad at your mother or something. But that's why you find yourself as a 45-year-old person on the street shouting. There must be a story behind all those people you see mumbling on the street. Having those intense conversations that look really, really significant except nobody else is there. And the, you know, you're probably mad at something. I don't, because everybody remembers you would be alone in the kitchen and twilight would be dwindling and you could hear the far-off cries of the other children playing nearby. And you knew you'd be alone in the kitchen because it was your special treat time where the jelly would come out just for you. And your mother would appear at your side, just this vision of Laura Ashley print dress smelling of magnolias and biscuits. And put the jelly in front of you and you would pull your chair in and then the old-fashioned bar of ice cream would come down, the one that had to be cut with a bread knife before the two sides were
definitely
flanked
Irish.
with wafers. And you would lift your little spoon up excitedly to press it in and winkle out that first divot of black jelly. And then the cage would come down. The cage with the Japanese fighting spiders inside. She would strike a match off her forearm and go and tell you to dance in the front room for money. And you never forget that shit, you know, it never goes away.
It never goes away, you know? He repeats it later with another one in the set and it's just, it kills, it absolutely kills. And then the cage!
What was I going to say?
What were you going to say?
I can't remember, I can't do everything around here.
Oh my god, he's so pissed. I had the pleasure of seeing him pre and post drinking. The quitting of drinking. And I hate to say it. Not as funny sober. I'm gonna say it. I'm so sorry. Thrustmasterovsky. It's too much. I can't be expected. Which one's you? Is it this one? Yeah. Got it in one. I don't know. It's just, I can't say it clearly. I know, right? It was still funny, but it was like, he wasn't happy. You can tell. Oh, I want to reference a Black Books thing and now I can't because Betty's watching it. Gets to that point. Oh. All right, drone delivery. Are we interested? Let's get this maker's scene set up. Oh, the light's not plugged in. That's what wasn't plugged in. I was like, why do I have an extra cord? Oh, yep. Cable management on point. I totally know which one it is. Oh, heavens. Excuse me. Excuse me. Got him. Okay. Where are you gonna go? Right there. Oh, there's normally two on this, I think. Alright, does that work? Is that working? No. That's fun. That's very cool. Why is that port not working? What's going on? Oh, it is. This thing that came with the Xbox isn't. Interesting. Alright. What is it about today that ever always there heaps of people live? I didn't even look at Twitch. I literally got home, got in the door and had a shower and went live. Well, you're gonna have to turn me off. All right? I will not see your brain melting, little Darian. Piss off. Get out. Okay? I will not have it. I won't have it on my watch. No. No, I really must insist. I'll just sit here with brain leaking out of my ears. It's fine. You know what? It's your prerogative. I obviously don't want you here. Is there any chat bully dom stuff on Twitch? Where, I mean, obviously, oh yeah, there's a lot now I think about it. Did everyone see that viral clip this week of that chat streamer having a mod on and totally humiliating him? And it was really, 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 really uncomfortable. That's Polo's entire stream. Dang, I wish I'd gotten in a little earlier, huh? It's gonna be here, I think. Which means camera has to move. That's cool, we got it. Very good. It is a good shot, isn't it? That's a very good shot. I'm very big. Do I need to be this big? I feel like we should make some eggy border to put around me or some shit. Should we maybe move the cords out of the way? Hmm? This is an ish. I'm one cable thing short, strangely. So, I don't know where it is. Oh, I'm literally staring at it. It's right there. One sec, I'm just gonna extend this bit. Was that my camera? Lol. Sorry about that. Pretty sure that was my cam. They don't advise you do that mid-stream. Take two. That was a song that I learned on bass and piano, but never guitar. Yeah, this camera's dead. Chicka chicka chicka! You can't even see. You can't even see right now. You can't even see right now, dude. I'm like totally tickling. Oh, there we go. All right. Knife out. All right, ready to hit go live. You're on the bench, McCaskey. I usually just believe this streamers. We have a mouth cam double up. Wow. Oh, God. Wow. That is terrifying. Ah. Where is it? Oh, it's there. Why? Why was this a thing? Why? What? More mouth cams? You want more? Shit, dude. What are we gonna do with all these mouth cams? I don't know what to do with them all. Ooh, yeah. The way you are the only one that could have made it and you don't know. Ah, you must be new here. Goldfish have better memory than me, my love. You should be amazed that I remember who you are. Peace. Disturbing. Okay, we're getting rid of them. They're gone. Okay. I'm trying not to pick up the Velcro. There's the Velcro at the bottom of frame there. Oh. Okay. All right, cool. These are our colors. We got pink, orange too, because these were for, I actually need to make eggs. So let's make some eggs. I'm out of stock. Also, let me know if you've received your eggs. I've sent out heaps. And I'm so excited. Oh, Duck got theirs. And Liv. And Sway. Yay. I'm so excited. Thank you for your support, guys. It's like a pinky pastel pink and then a hot pink with glitter because this was for our sex toys when we were making our dildos. We've got black. So should we make like an orange black mushroom and like a pastel pink and white mushroom? Like pink body, white dots. Orange body, black dots. Thoughts? Yo, go lit. How many done? 4 drafted, 3 to go. Let's go. You're smashing it. I think that's what we'll do. But let's write it down because as we just discussed, memory no worky. Oh, look, a little book. Cute. This is why it's also good, because I forget everything. And then I'm like, oh, presents. And it's just my own belongings. Let's write it down. What'd I just say? Eggs. I have to make eggs. We also want to make little mushrooms with a stick that we'll put in later. And we'll do... Alright. We'll do white and pink. Even white and orange as well would look cute. And then we'll also do black on orange. Black on pink? Nah, not feeling it. Tiny book! I know, isn't it cute? Little exercise book, little composition book. Pink and white, black and orange. Yes, thank you very much. And this, of course, is white and l'orange. Let's make some clay shit. Anyone want anything made? Does anyone want any clay? Do you want me to send you a little thing? Ah, my pen. Ah, my beard. Forgot about that clip. That was funny. Remember when I dressed up as the Count? And then my beard fell off? I was like, gah! My beard. Do I have a browser tab on this? I do. This makes me want a day party. Oh, I forgot to eat. Fuck. I gotta make a sandwich. Shit. Why does my tummy feel weird? Look at Daddy face us. There you are. As our Lord and Savior. Alright, let's watch this and I'm gonna make a cucumber and cheese and mayonnaise sandwich. And it's gonna be sick.
Jeff Bezos introduced the world to a concept that promised to revolutionize delivery.
Bezos kept telling us that he did have a big surprise, something he wanted to unveil for the first time.
But there's no reason that they can't be used as delivery vehicles.
Within a matter of years, autonomous drones would engulf cities, sweeping across skies, delivering packages to front yards just 30 minutes after their order. The announcement floored Charlie Rose and America alike, grabbing headlines for weeks and setting off fiery debates over just how disruptive the disruptive technology would be. Drones would offer urban and suburban consumers a clean, quick, convenient delivery option for food, medicine, or whatever else 5 pounds or less without burning fossil fuels, without getting stuck in traffic, without making them wait. The idea was far-fetched, it was exciting, it was the future arriving in front of our very eyes, and it signaled that the race to take delivery drones to market was on. By the time Amazon landed its first package, Zipline was already delivering medical supplies in Rwanda, Skydrop had flown a 7-Eleven Slurpee and a Domino's pizza straight to consumers, and Google's Project Wing had airdrop burritos to hungry college kids. A wave of startups sent their maiden drone delivery skyward to much media fanfare, while major parcel couriers, DHL, UPS, FedEx, substantiated the hype by partnering with the budding tech companies set to help solve their last-mile problems. Inventors, investors, eccentric billionaires, and the world's biggest companies were all pulling the same rope. Anything, anywhere, anytime. The dark days of DoorDash and 2-day delivery were over. The drone delivery era was coming. Or so it seemed. It's now 2022, And save for the smallest fraction of a percent of people, it's not automated drones dropping off your small packages and food orders. Pizzas aren't falling from the sky, they're showing up in the hands of a high schooler. Burritos aren't delicately dropped on your lawn from above, they're left on your doorstep by a hustling gig worker. Your Amazon order won't show up in 30 minutes, it probably won't even show up same day. The world 60 Minutes introduced in 2013, the world that felt closer and closer to reality with every inaugural delivery, just isn't here. Fundamentally, the fast delivery niche still exists. The last mile still accounts for around 40% of parcel shipping costs, roads are still increasingly clogged with traffic, green shipping alternatives are still desperately needed, and consumers still want products as cheap and fast as possible. Outside of a few specific locations, drone delivery has yet to take off, and in those few specific locations, it's hardly more than a proof of concept. Certainly, delays are understood, expected even, when it comes to the acceptance of a disruptive technology. Delayed acceptance, though, is at very most only part of the story. In 2021, Amazon fired staff and closed its Prime Air offices in the UK. From the former center of Amazon's drone project emerged stories of mismanagement and disarray. Employees drank beers at their desks, managers were given no direction, executives ignored the stalling division aside from the occasional pizza party. While the company responded to these reports with a statement affirming its continued investment in drone delivery, Amazon hasn't released any promotional material for the project since 2016, and Prime Air's website doesn't seem to have been updated in years. The most generous possible interpretation is that the Amazon project is definitively on the back burner. Others aren't even there. While Amazon remains quiet on their future intentions, DHL announced in summer 2021 that it was officially abandoning its Parcelcopter project nearly 8 years after its maiden flight.
Wow.
So, two of the most important drone delivery companies put their programs on ice, few companies are getting the investments they used to, and no company has yet realized the imminent future of widespread operations laid out a decade ago. So, what went so wrong with drone delivery?
Oh, was it that long ago?
Well, this is Phoenix, a sprawling desert metropolis home to 5 million people. On first glance, Phoenix seems the perfect candidate for a drone delivery service. Its year-round sunny, dry,
It's
still
flat.
climate makes for easy, reliable flight conditions, its autonomous, innovation-friendly city and state governments would welcome them with open arms, and its sprawling, low-density neighborhoods would make for countless hungry and impatient residents lacking walkable dining and shopping options. Surely, this is the low-hanging fruit. Surely, a drone delivery company could come in, connect any house with any product within minutes, and demand would immediately outstrip supply, right? Well, perhaps not. Connecting any house with a drone delivery provider doesn't quite work because in the center of the city, right here, is Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. In order
Have I
to
seen
assure
the
the
robot
safety
artist?
of arriving and
No.
departing aircraft at the busy hub, the FAA restricts the use of drones within this area.
Damn it!
So a Phoenix drone delivery service probably just couldn't operate here. And here in the restricted airspace around Luke Air Force
robot
Base.
dogs?
And here around Phoenix Goodyear Airport. And here, and here, and here, here, and here. It's not entirely impossible to operate drones within restricted airspace, but from a
That's
legal perspective,
amazing.
it ranges
They
from
make
somewhat
art?
to extremely difficult. Enough
It's not like
that
the
it probably wouldn't be
sweepy-
worth
the one-
pursuing
remember the one
for a
that's, like,
drone delivery
sweeping
company,
oil around?
at
That
least at
viral
the start. The
reel.
rest of Phoenix, though, is fair game. To an extent.
They're trying
You
to
see,
sweep it up.
drones need somewhere to deliver to, and it's gotta be
It's
safe.
so
When the concept
sad.
was first introduced, the vision typically
the most
presented
human
was of a
thing I've ever
drone
seen
flying down, landing on
a
one's
robot
lawn,
do.
releasing its delivery,
Trying to sweep
and
up
taking
something
off
that's
and flying
inevitably
away.
falling back
That
out the
didn't
other
work.
side.
At least not in reality. Drone delivery
Oops.
is a
Oh,
novel
sorry, I
technology,
gotta permit you.
and
Fuck,
like
I
any
forget
novel
about links.
technology, the public
It's
views it
just
with an
because-
air of distrust. The
You're fine,
worst
darling.
thing the industry could do is prove that distrust
do it right now.
warranted with a
There you go.
series of
Go again.
high-profile
Sorry about that.
accidents at launch. The first instance of a delivery drone injuring
Cool,
a customer
thank you.
will inevitably ignite a media firestorm, which could lead to a legislative clampdown, so manufacturers naturally must strive for perfection. Perfection is tough to scale, though. Delivery drones must act autonomously to be cost-effective, and autonomous operations require computer vision and artificial intelligence able to reliably identify a clear landing zone. Determining whether someone is behind or in front of a
This looks cool. Sorry, I can't see it. And my theory did not work. It's fine. I'm not even pissed about it. Why is my mouse disappearing? What's happening? Oh, lol. I hate that. I do that all the time. Polish-born, USA-based artist Agnieszka Pilat, expands her creative fascination with robots and technology by passing her brushes onto her AI-enabled robot. Robot apprentices to explore and reveal the power of technology in contemporary society. Boston Dynamics robot dogs named Basia Spot, Omuzana Spot, and Bunny Spot are trained to paint autonomously, becoming the artists and painting both individual and collaborative works. Oh, it's interesting that they do collaborative works. Terrifying would probably be the right word to use. Good God. Over the duration of the exhibition. Through her collaborative process, the artist shares futuristic yet joyful intersection between technology evolution. Didn't think I'd ever hear that as a phrase. And artistic tradition. Nah, I don't like it. I don't. During extra, the dogs adapt to nighttime painting, offering audiences new vision of dogs as artistic protege work. Lives and works New York City, San Francisco. Self-proclaimed machine chaser. Okay. Commutes between East-West Coast pursuit of emergent technologies. You should be in Arizona, fucking with these drones. That's cool. Currently, uh-oh. 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 How you doing, llama? I still had her arm out. Lid? Fucking hell. Hell yeah, I had a robot. It's my kind of robot. Very cool.
A window, noticing when a dog's running towards the drone, knowing what's a pool and what's dry ground. These are all challenging for a computer to tackle on its own, and so attaining perfection proves rather difficult. Therefore, whereas the logistics field generally considers the last mile of delivery the most difficult once the economies of scale are gone, drone delivery is a last mile solution with its own last foot problem. It's fairly straightforward to get a drone to a couple dozen feet above the ground. Getting a package safely to the ground has proven more challenging. Some solutions have emerged. Zipline, focusing on longer distance delivery to a set number of facilities with dedicated delivery zones, drops its payload in a packaging with an attached parachute that carries it to the ground. Matternet also uses dedicated zones for delivering to commercial facilities, while they've developed a system of delivery stations for use by urban consumers. Uber Eats, meanwhile, implemented a scrappy yet inefficient system where delivery drones would land on top of delivery drivers' cars, then those delivery drivers would walk the food to the customer's door. Most solutions for the last foot problem, however, have gravitated towards one method. Wing, Skydrop, Flytrex, Wingcopter, and others have developed systems where their drones hover above the destination at a safe height and lower their payloads to the ground using cords. Far less risky than landing a heavy drone propelled by fast-moving rotors.
Do we all get a chute in our house, in our roof? Like a mail plop in the middle of the roof? And the drone drops it in the thing and then we can pull it down and access it from the inside the house? Otherwise, it's not really solving anything, right? Parcels are still going to get stolen. Things are going to go to the wrong place. I vote for a roof hutch.
Solutions have in common is that they require a roomy, controlled, obstruction-free area to make their final deliveries.
Used to have an entryway.
However, in the places where people actually live,
scares me as much
that's
as
hardly
ring
a given.
cameras.
Yards are the
Ring cameras are fucked. This is like absolutely no security on their, I mean, good security system, it'll film shit, but it will release it. How it gets into people's hands, and that's creepy as shit. And people are like, I'm using my ring cam as like a baby monitor. You know? Oh, well, people can buy that. People can buy that. I'm on street, you know, like I understand. Like people can get footage if you put it out there, but for people who don't know that that's a potential thing that could happen. They have so much trust in these tech companies or anyone at that scale to have your best intentions at the heart of it. It's just, oh my God. It's like, unless you're fine with it. A lot of people are just like, I don't care. That's like the webcam covers and the not webcam covers on laptops that don't have a... It's like half the people are like, I'm covering, you gotta pay for that shit. Or I don't want people to do that. And they'll have it like, all right, well, fucking, all right, what are you gonna do with it? Wank, you know, have a wank? Fine, I'm an adult. Like, it's not like I'm a child. You know, if it was a child, it'd be a different thing. You know, cover up those webcams. But, you know, some people are like that. You don't give a shit. Exactly, there you go. Cusco's one of them. I used to cover my webcam, and now I'm streaming. So that it makes, there's
The
no
best
sense.
delivery
It's
zones that are
nonsensical.
widespread, but not everyone has a yard. While it's a safe bet for single-family homes in an area like Phoenix, it can be hit or miss whether multifamily homes and apartment buildings have a big enough yard, and even when they do, their communal nature means that the customer couldn't necessarily guarantee that their landing area would be free from obstructions, as would be the case with their own private yard. So, at least for an early drone delivery service, it probably wouldn't work in
wouldn't put it
restricted
past it,
airspace, and probably
eventually.
not for anything beyond single-family
This being the way that we
homes
do mail.
either. These and other legal, technological, and practical constraints mean that the scope of what works in terms of drone delivery is narrow. It's pretty
very
easy
close.
to start crossing off
There's a
cities.
lot of meat,
Boston's
isn't
winter is too harsh, New York's density inhibits yards, DC's airspace is too restricted, Pittsburgh's landscape is too hilly, this could go on and on. While it varies by company, most delivery drones tend to be able to fly to deliveries as far as about 6 miles away. So, assuming early operations would base out of a single location to capture economies of scale, meaning their drones would have to return to said location to charge after each delivery, that means a viable first delivery zone in Phoenix, optimizing for a large area free of airspace restrictions centered on wealthier neighborhoods, would be this. 310,987 people live in this zone, a small chunk of the metro area's 5 million. However, in Phoenix, only 63.2% of housing units are single-family, which are likely to have the private yard necessary for delivery, and only 92% are occupied, meaning in this prime zone, at least extrapolating using citywide data, which is the most precise available, there are only 180,820 possible users of a drone delivery service. This is clearly an imprecise methodology, but it's indicative of how the prospect of drone delivery, the prospect of anything, anywhere, anytime, is getting diminished and diminished and diminished down into a niche service for a lucky few. A small system
Just
linking a
lit.
strip mall to a neighborhood behind it, a fixed route flying COVID vaccines from a distribution center to vaccination
Honestly,
sites,
sway.
6 shops delivering to a small part of a small town in Virginia. Drone delivery has hardly moved beyond proof of concept, and it's not even clear that they've proved the concept. In 2016, when asked about same-day delivery, 70% of respondents said they were content with the cheapest option, while just 23% of respondents said they paid more for
That summer in
same-day.
Sodomy right
For
out.
drones to prove
Oh,
commercially
sorry, I missed your
viable,
comment.
they need to
When my
decisively
ring camera footage
corner that
leaks and
quarter
it's
of
just
more
a
willing
parade of grinder
customers and
hookups
become
going.
ubiquitous. They'd likely need to operate at
See,
no
but you
extra
should have the
charge
right to
from
sell
ground
that
delivery
yourself.
at all. Most
That's-
people, it turns
that's
out,
fine.
are simply
That's a
okay
fun
with
thing.
waiting a day or two for their packages, while all want them delivered as quickly and cheaply as possible.
Alright, let's make some
When the
fucking
drone delivery
eggs,
hype
boy.
hit fever pitch, one bit of nuance went
I'm going to
overlooked.
first
Consumers simply don't
my
care about
hands,
how a
'cause the
package
white
gets
is
from
a
B to
nightmare.
C,
If
so
any
long
of you
as it's
have Eggy
quick,
Boy magnets, you'll
cost-efficient,
know.
and reliable.
Very
They'd
hard to
opt
keep
for a
them
new
white.
technology once for the novelty, but by the 100th time, that wears off. Eventually, rationality will return. In fact, when surveyed in 2020, consumers perceived drones to potentially threaten those most important factors for them. They said they were uncertain
Try
about
make like a
drones'
dozen.
reliability, cost, and were worried about the job loss they could incite. Meanwhile,
Yes, it is
competitors
my
have
nail
figured out
knife.
a number of low-tech
It's my everything
solutions
knife.
that fulfill these consumer desires. Look
How
no
do you think you
further
got that
than food
Thrustmaster
delivery
so
apps.
fast?
Since
Hey.
2017, the very moment when drone delivery hype hit fever pitch, the food delivery industry has tripled in size, ballooning into a $150 billion sector globally. In this, speed matters and consumers expect to pay for the delivery cost, facts that seemingly pave a lane for drone delivery. But between Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash, the power players are already established and the competition is already fierce. These comparatively low-tech companies don't even tell the consumer whether to expect their burger to come by car, moped, bike, or foot. They just prioritize getting food to doors quickly, pleasing the consumer regardless of method, and undercutting drone delivery in the process. By and large, food delivery apps closely match the upside of drones within urban and suburban areas without the hassle of complying with FAA guidelines and figuring out the last foot problem. Adding to the competitive problems facing drone startups, these companies and others have since expanded into grocery, medicine, and goods deliveries. Put simply, from the consumer perspective, the problem drone delivery was designed to address has already been solved without building out a massively complicated aerial delivery network. The current low-tech gig economy model isn't perfect, though. For consumers and restaurants alike, the usage fees are expensive. For those delivering, the pay is minimal. And for the big players, profit has proved elusive. One partial solution is automation. Here still, though, drones are likely to lose out. Ground-based autonomous and semi-autonomous robotics have begun popping up in test markets and partnering with the likes of Uber Eats and Grubhub to expand their reach. While a recent partial ban on sidewalk-wandering robots in San Francisco points to the hurdles the technology faces, these hurdles just won't be as numerous as those facing drones. Automation and technological advances may well help smooth out food and last-mile delivery. In the near future, your prescription, your lunch order, or your afternoon coffee might be showing up at your front door courtesy of an autonomous vehicle. You'll just need to reach down and grab it from a robot instead of unclipping it from a drone above. Now, many probably now look at drone delivery in retrospect and find it unsurprising that the bombastic claims of the 2010s failed to pan out, but far fewer would have expressed a dissenting opinion just 5 years ago. That's because this is a rather classic story. That of a hype cycle. A new idea comes around, a few early players start development, then something, a launch, a demo, or even just a domino effect, sets off a media firestorm painting a rosy picture of a future revolutionized by this new technology. The story is so archetypal in tech that there's even a theoretical framework defining the process, Gartner's hype cycle. According to it, after that media firestorm, that peak of inflated expectations, results slow and sentiment starts shifting downward. Investors complain and the public's memory fades until the media begins coverage of the purported failure. The public grows disappointed, but then grows silent, and in the silence, first generations are adapted into seconds, failures inform potential successes, and slowly something meaningful, albeit minor compared to the original vision, starts to work. We are here. While what's happening may be drowned out in the media by what's not, there are applications that are starting to work. 3 years ago, Zipline was a small Silicon Valley startup operating a few dozen drone delivery flights per day in one region of Rwanda. They relied on the principle that many medical products are crucially important when used, but not used regularly, and often have short shelf lives, making them tough to economically and efficiently stock at smaller clinic operations. In less developed regions, poor road infrastructure makes many remote clinics many hours or days away from a distribution center, despite relative proximity as the crow flies. Therefore, Zipline's drones acted as a quick, low-cost distribution system for necessary medical products to remote areas dotting Rwanda's rolling hills. Far more places than Rwanda's southern province fit this description. Nowadays, Zipline operates similar systems in the country's eastern province, 4 regions in Ghana, the US, and a number of other locations are in active development. Excitingly, the news of Zipline's impending expansion to the Ivory Coast hardly made news. It wasn't written about in Wired, TechCrunch didn't publish an article about it, just a simple press release and some industry and regional coverage. This is progress. This shows that Zipline's deployments aren't proofs of concepts, aren't publicity stunts, they're actual, real commercial implementations. Crucially, Zipline didn't find a use case that drones could fulfill. They found a use case that only drones could fulfill.
They found
the healthcare use case. They found the low-hanging fruit, and other companies are noticing. Matternet and Wingcopter are now placing heavy emphasis on their medical potential as well. As the early use case matures, cost will come down,
top 4 dramatic moments
will rise,
on Come Down
and
With
innovators
Me.
will find more uses that only the novel technology can fulfill. Once one becomes clear, more must be possible. Eventually, everything will creep closer to that idealistic
I'm
vision
excited
first
to see
presented at the peak of the hype,
the
and
thrust
then
muster-
just slightly
master
delayed
in
behind
action.
expectations.
I keep
The
going
new
to say
technology
muster,
will
like you're
finally
mustering
have
the thrust,
actually changed
not
the world.
mastering it.
Unlike
Thrust
delivery
master.
drones, what I hope does live up to expectations is our brand new feature-length documentary, which came out today
Okay.
after almost a
You're done. Oh, who's that? It's Hoodie! What a champ! Hey, Hoodie! It's so good to see you, dude! Vlogs, hi! Welcome in. Everyone say hi to Hoodie!
My name is Stephen Bordino, and
What
line
is
cook
going
here.
on?
The
Welcome
short
in,
story
dude.
of that
I'm
is
just watching some shit and I'm making some eggs, my guy. I hope you're doing well. So good to see your face. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah. This one's every single job at a Michelin star
Basically,
kitchen.
whatever chef
And
requires
the
of me is-
thumbnail implied there were 48 roles. Whether or not that's each one, you know, like 10 line chefs or something, you know, and 2 sous chefs, and instead of like each role, so it's more like 10. But we'll see.
It's my job.
You're great. Hope
You know,
guys had a
everything's
good
about my
tour.
knife work and
That's
presentation.
lovely.
We're doing a small dice on the shallots. It's for the Arctic char crudo. It's supposed to be basically invisible almost. Has to be as fine as possible so that it blends in with the rest of the dish.
My name
don't
is
like
Jae
chef
Wook,
wank?
and I'm from South
Give
Korea.
it 10
you can call me
minutes.
just Ryan. The chef entremet is in charge of each garnish and the sauce based for the every dishes. So I'm gonna prep for garnish and sauce for each dish, working with the chef grills and plancha to make it whole dishes in front of the front.
Probably make about 30 to 40 pastas on a busy night. Pasta wasn't really something I was passionate about before starting with the station, and then once I started on, I kind of started enjoying it more and learning more and getting really into it.
My name is Parth
Good.
Bhatia and I work on the fryer station during service.
My name's Richie Lou, and I'm a prep cook at Crown Shack. So we're
That
taking
is
nori
the
chips
role.
that have been
That
painted.
is the role. If you could just be a prep cook, you get in, you have a list, you prep it, you get out when the service starts. I wouldn't, because I love service. But if you just wanted to cook and you didn't want to deal with the toxic nature of service, and yes, that is why I liked it. It's very fun, but it's very toxic. Then prep chef.
With mochi rice flour paste, and then we fry them, press them out, and we cut them into threes for our bento box.
My name is Gene DeVries, and I'm one of the tournants in the kitchen. Essentially, I float around and fill in gaps and
Say
help.
fun.
Today, they're a little short on the Garmo station, so I'm helping with them. I'm garnicher.
Day to day changes. I'll work brunch one day, grill one day, plancha one day, entremet one day, and prep one day. So just
That's
depending
cute.
on every
That's
day, it's
fucking-
different, you
that's
know.
ballin'.
So today I'm on plancha,
I
so
do
that's
that.
fun. But favorite is grill for sure.
Love
I'm the
being a rock
grill
star.
cook, basically in
bounce
charge
around.
of preparation for all proteins during service. It definitely gets hot. Like if you guys are here around, 7, 8
Never
o'clock,
work
it gets
grill,
pretty toasty
ever?
back here. So.
My name is Alfred Nebiar. I am the chef de cuisine at
What about you
Crown
guys?
Shack. In charge of running the day-to-day operations of the restaurant, from all the admin stuff like hiring and worrying about food costs, to the creative side, menu development, to service, and just making sure that the quality is up to our standard. I think something that was an active decision was trying to give the cooks time for themselves, and we can try to encourage them to go have lunch and go see things and find inspiration in the city before coming to work, and trying to move away from the 70-hour work week.
Nice.
Insane hours
I
that
left
everyone's been
Hospo at the
doing
wrong
because
time,
it's just been a
gang.
habit.
It started getting good right as I was ending. I probably
There's
did
only
5
4 of
years
us on the
of new
management
school
team, and we have to
hospo.
come up with 12
God
new
damn.
dishes. That crunch to really come up with things and be creative is, I think, my favorite aspect of this job.
It's my job to make sure the kitchen runs smoothly as far as, managing the cooks and making sure the food looks good.
I'm a pastry cook at Crown Chai. I usually get here around 2:30 and I'm done.
You float around filling
12.
gaps as well.
So I work service. That means that I'm taking bread out at the beginning of every table's meal and then desserts when they fire.
Good gig.
José Ismael Sosa Jiménez y soy carnicero. Me emociona hacerlo, tengo que mover la mano rápido y todo. Me encanta hacerlo.
Soy carnicero. Estamos acá haciendo pescado. Pues tenemos acá ya lo fileteamos, ahorita estamos sacándole las espinas.
Mi nombre es Marlene Castillo. O sea, de aquí salen nuestros procesos, los iniciales procesos para hacer un cóctel. No toda la coctelería, pero sí parte de ella. Se inicia aquí. Bueno, mi trabajo me gusta. Todo desde que llegué a Nueva York, mi trabajo siempre ha sido preparación de coctelería.
Preparación, diseño de los garnish, para los tragos. Todo es bastante difícil, pero para mí ya es fácil por los años que tengo en esto. Aquí tengo 2 años, cumplo, pero ya trabajando en esta área llevo 12 años.
Really, Doc? Yeah.
Carlos Infante. Soy preparador para la cocina.
Mi nombre es Yomaira Jacobo y mi posición es preparadora de la cocina. Ahora mismo estoy lavando las toasters.
Son cosas delicaditas que hay que hacerlas con amor para que salgan bonitas y mi proyecto es limpiar las delicates.
Mi nombre es Luis Alberto y mi posición es recibidor. La función principal del recibidor es encargarse de recibir vegetales, carnes, todo lo que trabaja el restaurante e ir acomodando en su respectivo lugar.
Pues de hecho no es laborioso, solamente tener bien todo acomodado en sus lugares.
No speak Spanish.
My name is Justine Cortez, and I am a bar back and prep person. So my goal is to be a bartender pretty soon. Right now, I am filtering some tea that's gonna go in a old-fashioned type of version, and we're gonna freeze some olive oil whiskey.
I am Anusha Sharma and I'm the Crown Chai pastry sous chef. I have a pretty big team. I help out with the production. I jump on the line, so kind of everywhere. Every night differs, but a slower night
They used to call me
200
Sellies.
breads and
Sellies
something around
Gap
200 desserts.
Selly.
I like what I do. I really do, and I like working here. Is why I've been here for so long.
It's my second week, so I'm still training.
So I'm shitting myself.
And learning all the different dishes. So I work production. So that means I'm prepping all of the cakes and breads and ice cream bases and different components of the desserts and everything put out by the pastry team.
I'm the sous chef that takes care of AM production for Saga and Crown Chai. We are the sauciers for the rest of the restaurants. So we essentially keep that prep, so when the line cook comes in the afternoon shift, they can just pick this up. We produce the base content, and they use finesse to kind of get the final product.
I only worked in a few
my name
places
is Wade.
that had
I'm
kitchens.
an extern here. I guess that's my goal
Big,
to
big enough to
just
do
learn
that.
and train and maybe be a great
oh,
chef one
shit.
day. And I feel like this
That's
is a great
the
place
way.
to learn and do that.
Brett.
I'm Isabel Vega, and I'm the chocolatier for Saga. I make the candies for Saga, so that's 2 types of bonbons, a nougat, a caramel, and a rice crispy.
Mi nombre es Germán Tubero. Trabajo de Huachi Cora. Es decir que me siento contento y ameno cuando estoy trabajando.
Hola, soy Mari Carmen, soy Cora. Somos divertidos, ponemos música, siempre yo estoy alegre, siempre estoy riéndome, cantando y la pasamos bien.
Let's teach me Spanish today.
My name is Jamal James Kent, and I am the chef and owner of all these restaurants. I am here always.
And here is
all
my
the
dick.
time, all hours. What I do in these restaurants is I lead the team,
I have never seen
inspire the
anything
team,
like a sh-
I nurture,
like a
I
chef's-
teach.
except for
So my role
politicians,
is to
like
grow
a
our
chef's
businesses
ego.
and then also teach our chefs and our
Phenomenal.
teams how to run these restaurants. Going forward, our kitchens are going to be smaller because running restaurants are a really tough business. And it's all about the efficiencies. Restaurants are super labor intensive, and it takes a lot of people to run any restaurant. What it takes to manage a team this large is trust.
God,
People
I'm
need
getting
to
like
trust that you're
secondhand
making good decisions
adrenaline.
for the right reasons. I think empathy is really important when you manage
It's
any
a very
group of
vibrant
people. Following through
existence.
on your words is really important. So if
So
I
if you like
say
boring and
something,
you
I'm
want
always going to
fun,
follow
it is
through.
very good for that. Or if you just were always planning on doing it that way.
Hi, I'm just Simran Singh, and I'm the culinary director for Crown Chai Horror Story Saga. Developing is, I think it's a huge role because we don't want to repeat a lot of same things. We come up with the ideas, and team kind of like present their way of like serving dishes. We go back and forth for like several weeks, and then every new season we change dishes.
Oh, I need some white for the mushroom.
Hi, I'm Tyler Silvestri, and I am the head sommelier.
Safe.
A lot of people think my job is a lot of drinking wine, which I mean, it definitely is. More so tasting.
But you know, I worked with
when
a
I'm
somm
on
that
the
didn't
clock.
drink.
But really, a
He
lot
did
of
it
my
by
job
smell.
is
'Cause
running
he
around
couldn't
and
drink anything.
helping out,
But he
clear
was very good at it.
tables, taste wines with distributors, and also make sure that the partnerships that we have with them
Whatever
are
bro told me
positive
when you're a
and
thrust
fortuitous
master.
for
Sommelier is like a bass player in a band. Our job
wanna
is
get
to
tamed by
fatten
a
out
group
the
that
sound.
large.
I open wine,
I think
talk
I'm gonna have
about
to hire
wine
you
with
in
guests,
Escort.
help facilitate
Please
pairings,
go.
and I clear
So
an
you get
enormous
blurry.
amount of tables throughout the course of the night.
Your levels
My
of
name is
horniness
Ivan Toski. I'm
out
a
of
bartender.
I'm a drinking consultant. My favorite thing to make is actually my least favorite thing to make, a Negroni. When you don't like something and you really thrive to understand
Did
it,
he say Negroni
it
to
actually
my
becomes
ears
more
right
fun and more interesting.
Favorite drink to
It's
make
called
here.
down bad.
I'm gonna be a little biased. It's our smoked butter
sorry.
old fashioned. It's got some nice plum, apple notes to it, a little masala chai, so kind of brightens it up a little bit as well.
Yeah, we have about 21 different cocktails, and also all the classic cocktails that we kind of put all together. There's a lot
Now, I
to
wanna
memorize, and then there's
I
also
would
like stuff that
murder
kind
an
of
old-fashioned right now.
based off like
Tara,
muscle memory,
wherever
which
Tara
helps
is
out
right
a lot.
now, probably streaming. I need an old fashioned. Desperately. Could it be arranged?
My name is
I'm
Noelle.
not saying
I am a
word.
server here. Today, we all get in here at 4, so and I'm a
Tossi's on the
closer
bench.
tonight, so probably it's, what is it, Tuesday? Probably gonna get off at around midnight. Every server has their own side work based on what section they're in. I'm in the back corner of the dining room today, so I am in charge of waters. I'm a big proponent of getting people to have cocktails, wine, full meal, and make it all the way to dessert. And an after dinner drink, that's something that I really enjoy doing. I don't think many people do that. So that's my job.
In other words.
To make sure people have dining experiences they normally don't have.
I have a bit of a theater background, so I like to approach every table like it's its own play. So, you know, I have my lines, my marks that I need to set. There's a little bit of improv, but for the most part, like this is my audience. This is the first time that they're experiencing it, or they're back for the show for the second time. So I always have to hit those marks.
Mi nombre es Iván Mocunima, estoy entrenando para Kitchen Service. Lo más complicado creo que es hablar con los clientes en algunos casos, pero de ahí el ambiente y todo es muy bueno y me siento muy cómodo aquí.
So my name is Andres Ramos Carrasco, and my title job is a floor manager.
Basically just take care of any issues that come up on the floor, make sure everything's running smoothly. Before service, we just sort of answer emails or make the floor plan so everyone knows what they're doing for the night.
My name is Jesus Nava, and I'm kitchen service here.
Hi, my name is Tobias Reyes. My hours today is 4 to 10.
Yeah, my name is Johnny Tuapanta. I'm a kitchen server here.
I'm gonna do host for 6 months.
I would say kind of like what Chef James Kent
Fun.
says.
People tip
we're in
you
the
really
industry
well.
of
You
splitting
always look
hairs,
after them.
so we're
You
just
gotta
like
choose
very
a
attentive
high-end
to detail,
place,
make sure
though.
everything's done right, and precise and consistent.
I'm Daisy Wither, and I am the Assistant General Manager of Crown Chai. I am basically the mom of the restaurant. I started in this industry about 11 years ago as a bathroom attendant. If someone wants to work for me, all I ask is for dedication, for somebody who has the hustle, somebody that works as a team member for everybody, not just in their sole position, but for everybody. It's one team, one dream.
Hello, my name is Jasenia Valderrama. I am
am the maitre d' of Crown Shy. The maitre d' is the one that runs the book, so they'll be the ones coordinating where the guests go. The hosts are kind of the ones that greet them, bring them to the table. If they have any questions, they kind of ask both, but the maitre d' is the one that runs the book. Crown Shy, I feel like, has a very welcoming environment, even for guests and as an employee myself. I feel like I've always felt welcome. We're one big family, even between the 3 teams, upstairs, downstairs. It's very welcoming.
That's a vibe. They're the good jobs. And the sad thing is that you got to cherish it because, literally, it's so bizarre how it happens. It's about every 9 months, one person will leave, and then the team is totally different again. It has a totally different vibe because 4 people end up leaving. Have you worked in a business like that before? Right next to my family. Everyone says one team, one dream is on my watch list. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Jarvis
It is
Johnson.
essentially toxic. You have to live and breathe.
Gold. The premium.
You have to absolutely live and breathe it, which is a lot. It can be a lot. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Never trouble, work in progress.
Lee, so how much have you really got to do yet?
You could do that.
No, I haven't got time at all. Sorry.
You start.
We'll make a family here.
I've got everything to do. You're the one who's wanting
And
to
then we'll
try
do our
everything,
yolks.
so you're
I
gonna
mean,
have to wait.
let's do our wiggles and then we'll have a cigarette. I'll probably just do the yolks as well.
And it wasn't just his dessert that was overheating in the kitchen.
What did I use last
Things
time?
didn't
Is there
go any
a
better with the main.
spoon or something, Mabes?
This course now is about
Can I use my
an hour
finger?
and 15 minutes late, but they won't care.
Check the
They'll
VOD.
be all right. It's not going to be fancy done up in any
I don't think
fancy
it's
old way.
finger.
I've watched my
Finger
German
is
bands, by
not
the way.
great.
That's
I'll be
hands
honest.
to you and me.
I dropped a bit on the floor, but
How do I do this?
don't worry, we don't want to waste it.
The knife?
Get that back in there.
Beautiful.
Doubt it,
I won't
doubt
mind.
it, hate it.
The tarragon will hide that, I'm pretty damn sure.
A
Let's hope
round
so.
thing,
That's
perhaps?
that. That's number 2.
When he finally managed to serve his main, his guests were far from impressed.
Tasty enough for you?
This is a competition, and essentially, it's like vegetable soup with chicken in.
You dishing my dinner?
Yeah.
Bless.
Well, mashed potato actually makes
Okay,
me
this
feel a
can't
bit.
be on top of it at all.
That's the tarragon.
I don't like the taste. I look forward to the dessert.
Trust me, don't.
Do you want my piece of chicken?
So the bottom line is, bottom line is
Oh,
you didn't
fuck, my
like
fingers did. I didn't like
chicken
it.
casserole.
No, I like the
Right.
chicken. Sorry.
Personally, I think you're all. Do you know what my mum always said to me? What? You're not here to be like, son. Just live it. So I'm living it. If you don't like it.
Actually, I say
and
that
you don't,
to most...
if you don't like
Wish
it,
I had gloves.
and you don't like me, and I don't win the money, I won't lose any sleep over it.
That's lucky.
And to be fair,
Okay, so
none
far,
of us are going to keep in touch
hand
with each other
was
at the
the
end of the
best.
week. Well, I won't, because I wouldn't do
say
it.
that at
Sometimes
all.
you just need a hand.
Lee, maybe you should quit while you're behind.
Oh dear.
I won't be keeping in touch with anyone after this.
Well, yeah.
I feel like I've offended you all.
I wonder why.
You get that impression?
Oh my god.
Wow, you're really
you're
off the
funny,
mark.
boys.
Well, you are being a bit, don't you think you're being a little bit harsh?
I'm being honest, I'm being me. Oh well, cheers. So you don't want a creme brulee? Shall I just boot you all out now?
No, we're
Because you all hate me?
No, we don't
my
hate you.
God.
Should we get Lee? Is that you hate us?
No, listen, I think you're all great.
No, you said you like.
Because you don't like my chicken.
Poulet Pritchard, named to perfection. Absolute rubbish. He's last. 0, 0, 0, 0.
It's one of them fish voting as well, then, Mike. But Lee's still convinced he can sweeten his guests with dessert.
Look at that. It's a fruit tower of excellence.
How do you use this?
Your guests will be the
Whatever
judge of
this
that.
is.
For me, that's like really sort of thin cream.
Oh, this
but
is a cutter.
Yeah, we
Creme
both like it different, don't we?
Yeah, no, of
It should work
Just
on
like it
paper.
thicker, so
Yeah,
just
it
tastes
does-
really, really
so
nice.
that's good.
It does.
Somehow, I don't think he
I can't remember
believes
what
you.
it's for. It could be
It
for
just
something.
tastes like runny
Mum got it for
custard.
me.
The meal tonight was
Instagram.
absolute crap.
That's when you know
I deserve
your mum's a fucking top G.
at least 10 just for effort. Clearly.
She risking
On Planet
Instagram
Pritchard, maybe.
drop shipping.
So
for you.
tonight, Lee, I'm going to give
Blissfully
you
unaware.
a 3, and I think I might have even been generous with that, to be honest.
I can only give Lee a 3.
Lee, you're
Can I
lucky
make this one
to
fucked
even
up?
get a
I kinda
1.
like that.
Let me tell you, boy.
So you can actually pick your own scorpion up the set?
Yeah, you could do, yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Like a fish tank full of scorpions. Yeah. But that's when in Rome, innit?
I'm gonna throw up. That's horrible.
It was lovely, though. It was lovely. Trust me. I get worried about your white carpet.
Dawn, are you okay? That was horrible. How can you talk about that? Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. Oh, my God.
She all right?
Yeah, I've just been to her. She wants to be left alone.
Right. By the third night, Dawn wasn't just sick, she was tired as well.
What is happening
so
with
tired.
Dawn?
Absolutely shattered.
I'm worried.
In bed. Enough.
And with that, she disappeared home.
There's a fifth
Dawn's
person, guys, missing for
crazy bitch.
dessert. And as much as she would have loved to have tried it, she's going to get to try
These are
this
so messed up. I love
tomorrow.
Dawn just literally just went.
You'll know I made these, gang.
Before completely losing it at her dinner.
I do
She's
like
just got
it, yeah.
fingerprints
Yeah,
all
this
over
one,
them.
honestly, I really do like it.
They're dirty.
Dawn, I love it.
They have.
She was
it's totally
tired.
random.
She wanted to go to bed. She didn't want to be with us.
No.
And go to bed she did, leaving guest Nigel to cook her main course for her.
Stepping in is like second nature to me. Like, get out my kitchen and I might as well do it myself.
Nigel hosted on Monday. He's hosted on Thursday. So, what a superstar. I mean, he really is. He went and saved her.
And with the main course ready to serve, Paul goes off to find Dawn, asleep.
Well, you about ready for main course? You gonna come down and eat with us? Come on, love. Nigel's been working hard in the kitchen. Cooked up a storm. You gonna come down and join us? Yeah?
I don't know. I didn't see what the dish was.
You come down, love.
That made her
Cool.
sick.
Cool.
What on earth? Oh my God.
Hello, darling.
Come on.
Come on.
You all right?
You're right.
Careful with that one.
I'm so tired.
She needs a black coffee.
The night has been
She's
horrendous.
insane. I love her. Is
This
this
has
her
been
like?
something I've
Is she
never
an
come
actor
across
trying to
in all
get
my
camera
years on
time
this earth.
for like
Tonight I'm going to give Dawn a 1.
auditions?
Because she's got other people cooking her courses. It didn't taste very nice. Terrible food. Complete car crash.
It was a total disaster.
Tonight I'm going to give Dawn a 1. Unfortunately, I would like to give her more, but after what I've just seen and not eaten, that's going to have to be the case,
insane, that one.
unfortunately.
But I
Dawn's
don't think she
insane.
cares.
I think there's a love story going on. You know what? And before the day's over, Callum's gonna be mine. Yeah.
Scary. On Callum's night, Janice's intentions were clear from the off.
Thank you.
You're sweating.
Oh, Jesus, well, it's hot in here.
Well, take your clothes off.
I will. Let's go out to the roof terrace.
Okay.
Go. This way.
It's really nice here.
Thank you. See you guys in a minute.
Good luck, Callum.
Thank you.
Oh,
Go
man,
with
I'll
it.
give him... Look at that. Yes, he's so handsome.
All right, double
But
yoke
her
is a hoy.
come-ons were one big turn-off.
Oh, my God. It's so hot in here. When you get to be
They
my
always
age,
right
Jerry,
next to each other.
and those hot flashes hit you.
It's a good look for you.
Who knows about eggs?
Listen, as soon as you're cool, if you don't mind, yeah, will you go sit down, Janice, please.
Yeah, but hang on. You know,
I didn't sit in here working all day to prepare this for you to come in here and make a scene.
love bossing me around.
No,
don't you?
you need to be put in your place every once in a while, yeah?
I'm not being put in place.
Please have a seat.
I'm hot flash.
Please.
I'm menopausal.
Go outside then, yeah?
Okay, I'm
You have a timeout.
54.
So far, no good. But Janice wasn't giving up that easily.
Look, all I'm trying to do is have a little, like, polite little flirt. It was delicious.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Chocolate turns women on.
You know, I wasn't going down that angle, but I'll tell you.
All right, I'll go get seconds for myself. He's a Lothario. I don't know. I'm the world's first supermodel, but, you know, I have credibility.
Speechless.
Not anymore. So, no toy boy for Janice, but on the final night, she turned to food for her carnal delight.
Like it. Like it. I'm having an orgasm.
And as well as missing out on Callum, she didn't get the prize either. Not that she cared.
I'm grateful about coming last kiss once again to the United
filters.
Kingdom. You can all
Where'd you put
kiss
them,
my
Chad?
American ass.
Claire, what is mascarpone?
I got it on the cheese counter.
I think you better go easy on that. It's 40% proof.
That's mascarpone.
Mascarpone.
That is mascarpone. That is just one ingredient in it.
I think they fell out of my basket in the car. I'm gonna go get them out of the car.
Mascarpone.
Mascarpone It's
Mask your
Italian
pony.
cheese cream for desserts.
I feel
Legless?
spectacular rubbish.
Said the spectacular drunk.
Don't hang back. Yeah, but don't hang back. Don't hang back.
This is
Tell us the truth.
Mascarpone spectacular rubbish.
Indeed.
And I feel she went and bought packets and said, I think we're a bunch of fools. I'm sampling testaculars.
You saying it's good?
What?
Are you saying it's good, Kim?
Oh, easy now. I think you've had quite enough already.
Okay, don't pass it around.
Serviette at all? Oh, that's got it. Taxis, please.
Okay, I'm going to the car.
God, blimey. She drank a lot of that vodka.
I'd never met her before, but I tell you what, I'll never forget her.
The food, okay, 70%. The vodka, lovely.
This is an ordinary umbrella, and this is a flying umbrella that follows me around. Umbrellas haven't really changed for the past 4,000 years. I mean, take a look at these two pictures. The fundamental design is exactly the same, but it's 2024. I shouldn't even need to hold my umbrella. So today, I'm gonna make the world's first umbrella that flies. I mean, what could go wrong? In theory, this project should be pretty simple. I reckon I can just slap some propellers onto an umbrella so it flies like a drone, but often theory can only take you so far. Turns out people have tried similar projects in the past, but all of them are either fake or just don't really seem to work. One of the main problems has to do with the placement of propellers. Propellers work by sucking air from above and pushing it downwards to generate thrust. If we try placing propellers on top of the umbrella, there's no space under for air to flow, so it doesn't work. And if we try placing them beneath an umbrella, the umbrella obstructs the air intake, which reduces thrust and also doesn't work. If this is hard for you to understand, take this car analogy. If I place a piece of paper here, it blocks the airflow so it stops working. But what if we made an internal frame that allows the propellers to stick out and be positioned on the sides? Since there's nothing above or below, this might actually work. The propellers can then be connected to motors like this one here and controlled by various electronics, which will help the umbrella stay stabilized while it's in the air. I guess there still is a good chance that this whole project just isn't possible, but I suppose we'll have to find out. Oh yeah, let's first go find an umbrella. I have a lot of different options, but something about its bright yellow color just makes this one stand out. Let's remove the handle so nothing sticks out the bottom during flight. Now here comes a pretty major problem. This rod is the only point on the umbrella I can attach things to, which makes it really hard to design a frame that connects securely. I ended up creating two different designs, this simple practical design and this slightly better looking but impractical design.
Should I go to the other
So
side?
I decided to go with this. Having these arms at an angle tucks the electronics further into the umbrella and makes the design much cleaner. The only downside is that the arms are much easier to break upon future landings, but who cares about the future when we live in the present? I actually have no experience with CAD or 3D modeling, and it only looks like I know what I'm doing because I decided to speed this clip up by 2000%, but somehow I was able to learn quickly and only after a few hours of... It's currently day 4, and that took way longer than it should have. The bright side is that we have all the parts we need. So here's the design. A central hub with a hole for the umbrella and 4 angle connection points for the arms, as well as 4 of these parts that mount the motors onto the arms, and a few other parts as well. Now let's just have these parts 3D printed.
Everybody hydrate!
It seems like my 3D printer isn't really working. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's only printing in 2D. Okay, now it's 3D, but not exactly. If only if there was a way I could get someone to print these parts for me. Well, luckily, now I can. PCBWay offers the best custom PCB prototyping services, but they also offer 3D printing. I'm adding these pads, which should help soften the landings. Time to add the motors. This is getting kinda annoying. Now we can just painfully solder 24 wires, connect them to the motors, slide them into the carbon fiber tubes, and feed them into the central hub. And boom, now we have an internal frame. I think it's time to move on to electronics. First I soldered the wires to this ESC which regulates the speed of the motors, and then I connected to this microcontroller that I can program to keep the umbrella stabilized when it's in the air.
Alright guys, I messed up.
I tried plugging in the LiPo battery to see if it would work, and yeah, the ESC exploded and destroyed a lot of the parts.
Oh, no!
I think it's because I soldered these wires super badly, like they might be touching each other, but I don't really know. I don't really want to spend $60 buying another ESC, so let me... There we go.
Sick.
Jokes aside, I had to take everything apart and buy a lot of replacement parts. At this
That
point,
was
I
cool
started to question
transition.
why I was even putting all this effort into something that probably wouldn't even
Wonder
work.
if he's a
But
counterfeit
maybe this
wind.
mistake
True.
wasn't such a bad thing after all, as I was able to take this time to improve the design. Since I was using over 7 meters of wire, switching them out for thinner ones significantly reduced the weight. And I also redesigned the wire connections, making them non-permanent, which allows the arms to now be removable so I can take things apart
Very
for
cute.
storage.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I've seen
The
one
large
Casey
surface
Neistat
area of the
video, but I
umbrella
understand
means
that's
that
his
even a
style.
slight breeze will cause it to be extremely unstable and drift away. So I'm hoping that a GPS can help correct for this and force the umbrella to hold position. And then for control, I'll be using this receiver and transmitter. Oh yeah, let's see if anything explodes again. Nice. Configuring and programming the drone was kinda tough, but with a bit of guesswork, self-intuition, and a bit of help from ChatGPT, I'm pretty sure this thing should now be able to fly.
Why is that actually powerful?
Alright, so the umbrella should friction fit into this hole, and I can wrap this around the arm so it stays in place. And with the final finishing touches, let's head out to see if this sketchy project that took months to make will actually work.
It's exciting. Does anyone have science friends that used to do shit like this? I always wanted to
I
have
decided
science
to
friends
start
that
off
did
by
this shit.
just testing
I'd be
the
like,
drone
yo, George, come
without the
around.
umbrella, and
I
somehow
built a rocket. I'd be like,
it
I'll be there in
actually
10.
Worked. But would the umbrella mess up the aerodynamics? We were about to find out.
If this fails, that's like many months of work just gone. All of that is just gone. But at the
Not
same
gone.
time, on like the grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't even really matter. So let's just go for it. My heart is actually racing, guys. All right, we're gonna start it. Start recording. Ready? We ready?
You taught Spanish at a school one summer and taught
I don't wanna
robotics
do
class.
this.
That's awesome.
Should I just go for it?
That's so cool.
Should I? I'm actually so scared, man. Bro! That's crazy! Bro, that should not work. Oh my god! Oh, let's go!
So is it a drone with an umbrella on it or is it not? Is it tracking him? Or did he essentially build a drone?
The first flight went surprisingly well, but things only started to go downhill from there. During the second flight, the umbrella started drifting away, and I barely caught up to it in time before it smashed into the fence.
Uh-oh.
And then the next day, this
I want to make
happened.
a coffee.
Oh no!
And then it started shaking super violently. Yeah, there were a lot of problems.
Instead of like lowering.
But after some trial and error, I ended up fixing
Should I do
things,
a
and now
triple?
the umbrella is even more stable than before. Now you might be wondering, does it work in the rain? The umbrella covers the electronics, but I wrapped them up with plastic wrap just in case.
Yo!
Your friend was in
yeah,
engineering.
This thing actually shields me from the rain. It wasn't raining that hard, but I reckon this thing can withstand much harsher conditions, just probably not stronger winds. Currently I can control the umbrella to follow me around, but it doesn't do this autonomously. In the future I could attach a camera to the underside and write a program that tracks my position and moves the umbrella
Why not just
accordingly.
use
So
a drone
10,000 likes
with a
and I'll try to
camera
make
in
this
it and
work.
put an
With that being
umbrella?
said, thank you so much for watching and see you
What's
next
the
time.
diff? He just wanted to build it.
This video is sponsored by Brilliant. Did you know an oak tree is way more closely related to a pumpkin than they are to pine trees? Look, here are the oaks next to the pumpkins, and here are the pine trees all the way over here. Before I made this map,
Wait, why did I think he was making an umbrella to make him fly with it? Oh my god. What's this, Betty? The flying nun. I haven't seen this. Misadventures of a nun who can fly and her covenant and her convent? Jesus Christ. Convent. It's at least I'm not, you know, in public right now. And neighbors. Convent is where nuns are. Oops. You grew up watching it's a show. Oh, it's a show? No shit. Well, that was cool. Little drone action. Yeah. Little chef stuff. Surprising map of plants looks good. I'm assuming it's all about like how the families are related and how things came along evolutionarily. Like which plants came first. I think that's how it started because I watched about 4 minutes of this previously before I had to leave. So I think I'm down for it.
I thought that all of the trees evolved from each other, but it turns out the concept of a tree next to the pumpkins, and here are the pine trees all the way over here. Before I made this map, I thought that all of the trees evolved from each other, but it turns out the concept of a tree has evolved throughout history multiple times. In this map of plants video, I'm going to look at all of the different kinds of plants on Earth and how they're all related to each other. And I made this video with the help of the experts at the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew here in London. And like all of my map videos, the poster's available on my website, dosmaps.com, as well as all of our Professor
So they make
AstroCat
maps.
books. So if you want to get your hands on it,
He's not a
that's where
gardener.
to go.
So this will be interesting.
In this map, I found the most sensible way of organising all of the plants was by how they've evolved. So this map is really an evolutionary tree of all plant life based on our current understanding. And let's start at the beginning with the most ancient plants, algae. Algae is a name used to describe a wide range of different unrelated organisms that have the ability to generate energy through photosynthesis, but not all of these are true plants. Algae come in many different sizes, from single-celled varieties to multicellular seaweeds. In fact, all seaweeds are different kinds of algae, although algae aren't just found in salt water. They can be found in fresh water and on land. Single-celled algae, known as diatoms, and the multicellular brown algae are not considered true plants. Even so, they're very important to life, as 3/4 of the oxygen in the atmosphere is made by tiny single-celled phytoplankton. Red algae are the first big group of species considered to be in the plant kingdom under the current taxonomy, containing about 6,000 species. Although there's another small group of around 15 species called glaucophytes, which may also have evolved first, but which one came first is still under debate. So what exactly is a plant? Technically, it's based on looking at a part of the cells called chloroplasts, which do the photosynthesis. In plants, these chloroplasts are surrounded by two membranes, which scientists think came from an ancient event where one cell ate another, but the cell that got eaten didn't die. They started working together, and we define all plants to have this kind of double membrane chloroplast. And red algae and glaucophytes have the double membrane chloroplast, despite not having things we think are more plant-like, like leaves, roots, or a stem. The different colours of algae come from the pigments they use to convert sunlight into energy. Green plants all use two types of chlorophyll, known as chlorophyll A and B, and these are the same pigments used by green algae. Streptophyte algae are a distinct group of green algae, which are thought to include the closest relatives to the land plants. The oldest fossil evidence of algae, and possibly all life on Earth, are found in 3.8 billion year old structures called stromatolites. These algae were a kind of photosynthetic bacteria called cyanobacteria, so these weren't plants.
Right.
But green algae and land plants share a common ancestor from 1 billion years ago, very early on in the evolution of life on Earth. Let's move on to the land plants. Bryophytes contain mosses, hornworts, and liverworts, and are a crucial part of our understanding of the evolution of plants, as they're considered to be very similar to the earliest land-dwelling organisms on Earth, which started to live on land from around 470 million years ago, around 50 million years before animals. They lack many of the features of more modern plants like flowers or vascular tissues, which are the parts of plants that transport water and nutrients, like sugars, around the
Xylem
plant.
and phloem.
But they do have root-like structures called rhizoids. Bryophytes typically grow in moist, shady environments because they can only collect water and nutrients directly through their cells.
Love moist, shady
They love
environments.
soaking up any water around. Some mosses can absorb 20 times their weight in water.
Wow.
They also tend to be small, typically around 3 to 6 centimeters in height, because they don't have the rigidity and structure that other plants get from their vascular tissues. The maximum height they can reach is only 60 centimeters tall. Now, every plant we'll meet after this point has got a vascular structure. Based on the fossils we've discovered, they first appeared around 420 million years ago. A vascular plant has specialized tissues called xylem and phloem, which transport water and nutrients throughout its structures. These tissues are rigid and enable vascular plants to grow taller and more complex than the non-vascular plants we've seen so far. Now we get to club mosses and ferns.
Ew.
Club mosses aren't true mosses because they have a vascular structure, but also club mosses aren't ferns because they've got a different leaf structure to ferns and different DNA, so they're stuck in the middle here on their own. Ferns include whisk ferns, horsetails, and leptosporangiate ferns, or leptoferns for short. And these have many of the features we're familiar with from plants: roots, a vascular structure, and true leaves called fronds. However, they reproduce through spores and not seeds. Ferns are a diverse group with over 10,000 known species inhabiting various habitats worldwide, even underwater. The fossil record for ferns stretches back to 400 million years ago, and the ancestors of today's ferns were giants, towering up to 40 meters in height.
Okay.
The Earth was covered in forests of tree ferns. These have mostly died out, but some tree ferns are still with us today. A quick side note, for this map I can't physically include every plant that exists. So I've chosen a familiar representative for each major group of plants.
So pretty, isn't it? I'm going to check out this channel. They make maps of things.
But from here onwards, I'm going to include the scientific names that classify each group. So if you want to find where your favourite plant sits on this map, just look up its scientific classification and you should be able to place it.
The difference will be, let me test my knowledge. Monocots are grasses. They have one leaf that forms and they have fibrous roots. No. Yes, they have fibrous roots. And eudicots have two cotyledons. That's what cot stands for. It's eudicotyledon and monocotyledon. And there's two true leaves. So like when a seed pops and there's two that come out like that, that means it's a eudicot. And like most things are those. And they have tap roots. So there's like a long one in the middle and then lots of little ones. Okay, let's see if I'm right.
From here on, the plants don't use spores to reproduce, but seeds. This was a really important step for the proliferation of plants. A seed is made of a young embryo, some nutritive tissue, and an outer protective covering. First, let's look at the gymnosperms, which today comprise the major groups
and
of
angiosperms. flowering and non-flowering. So things that have nuts and pollinate, they have a male and female, and they have nuts, yo, and strobili, yo, let's go. That's plant cum. If you're wondering what that is, strobili is plant cum. And then there's angiosperms, which is things that have flowers and pollinate through like insects and shit.
Cycads, ginkgo, neem, and conifers like pines and spruces. These first appear in the fossil record at around 390 million years ago. Gymnosperms reproduce through cones, which come in male and female forms. Male cones produce pollen, while female cones contain ovules that develop into seeds upon fertilization. And these are known as naked seeds because they're not covered in anything like a fruit or a hard shell. Gymnosperms have well-developed vascular tissues, enabling them to grow tall and thrive in various environments. For example, conifers are adapted to cold and dry conditions with needle-like leaves to reduce water loss and sturdy cones for seed protection. I just want to make a little side note on fungi, which naively seem like they're quite like plants, but actually they're very different. They don't photosynthesize and are genetically closer to animals than plants.
That's the flower.
But they're very important to this map because most plants live in a symbiotic relationship with fungi called mycorrhiza. In this relationship, the plant makes organic molecules by photosynthesis and gives them to the fungus in the form of sugars and lipids, while the fungus supplies the plant with water and minerals like phosphorus from the soil.
Phosphorus
also, when
creates
plants
roots.
die, fungi break them down and return the nutrients to the soil. Also, lichens, they're not plants either.
Nope.
They're a partnership between algae and fungi.
If you ever want to know where which wind direction is coming, like what's the strongest wind, look at the trees and buildings around. If there's lichen on one side, that's where the wind's coming from.
But I'm getting sidetracked now. I should probably do a map of fungi as well. Anyway, because of the close relationship between fungi and plants, I've drawn a mycorrhizal network as the background, as it seemed fitting. From now on, we'll be looking at the angiosperms, or flowering plants, which first appeared around 135 million years ago.
Whoa, it's so much.
They're now
so
the
much
most
later.
diverse and dominant group of land plants. 9/10 of the world's plants have flowers, and over 300,000 species of angiosperms are estimated to live on Earth today. Around 90% of flowers are adapted to be pollinated by animals, who have also adapted to feed on the nectar or fruit in a symbiotic relationship. Pollen is the male reproductive cell, so basically plant sperm, and the female reproductive cell
so
is
he
called
says plant sperm, but he can't say tree sperm. Come on.
an egg. When they meet, they make an embryo, which develops into a seed in the plant ovary.
Exactly.
The ovary then develops into a fruit,
Manfred,
which
remember,
encloses
I think
the
I was
seed.
going to call you Manny.
This was a very successful evolutionary
How you doing,
feature
babe?
to both help protect seeds, but also to disperse them when animals ate the fruits and pooed them out. Although this is just one method, there are many other dispersal tactics
Claire.
on the outside of
That's right.
seeds, like hairs or wings to be carried by the wind,
Gucci?
or hooks
I'm
to
making
grab
some
hold
eggs.
of
We're
animals.
watching some shit on trees.
We also need to talk about fruits because they're a little complicated. So anything with a seed inside it is a fruit, which is obvious for things like plums and berries. People who say tomatoes are fruits are correct
They're all fruit.
because they have seeds inside them. But then they should also include things like cucumbers or pumpkins. Basically any fleshy, edible thing with seeds in it is technically a fruit. Nuts are also fruits, hard
You're a
fruits,
fruit.
containing the seeds in a hard, protective shell which is formed from the ovary wall. Stone fruits like olives, mangoes, and peaches have got a seed inside the hard pit in the middle. And beans and peas, they're all seeds and come in seed pods. But we also have false fruits, like apples and strawberries, which don't form from the plant ovary, but from the top of the stem of the plant. So apples and strawberries aren't technically fruits. In fact, the things that look like seeds on the outside of strawberries are actually individual fruits. And the word vegetable is a generic...
God, botany fucks you over like that. That's the same thing as daisies. Remember I told you about this? Like a daisy flower, right? This bit is not the fucking flower. This is not the flower. These are bracts. They're just bits of modified leaf that the daisy has learnt to put on there so that the bees even fucking see it. Because guess what the flower is? The flower is this fucking thing. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Of course. Oh, no, that was it. Look. Oh, you can't see it. Fantastic. See this? They're the flowers. Enhance. See them? Oh, for fuck's sake. These bits. It's fucked. These are the flowers. Each one of these is the flower. Each single one. It's fucked. It should be illegal. Oops.
Term because some
Hey, that
vegetables
flower's
are actually
big fat
fruits
bony.
like pumpkins, but other vegetables come from other parts of the plant
can't
like
wait till I'm
potatoes or an
actually
underground
someone with that
stem,
fat. Yeah,
and broccoli
hit
is
'em up.
actually a flower and kale are leaves. Okay, back to the map, and now let's explore the flowering plants.
Yay.
We start with the early diverging types of flowering plants,
first?
those that appear early in the fossil record, and which may give hints as to what the ancestral flowering plants might have looked like. These include Ambarellales, which is a small group as it only contains a single species, Ambarella trichopoda.
I don't know it.
Then we
What
have
is it?
Nymphaeales, which includes water lilies
okay.
and some other aquatic
This
plants.
realm.
Then we get a collection of families which include the peppers, where we get our black pepper. But this isn't the same as the pepper plant we get chili peppers from. We'll meet that later. Then we have magnolias and laurels, also known as bay trees, where we
Yeah.
get bay leaves from. And it's what they made laurel wreaths out of in ancient Rome and Greece.
I didn't realize they were that old.
These early diverging angiosperms are examples of what the very early flowering plants may have been like, and studying these is valuable for helping to understand how different features in the flowering plants evolved. Now we get to a group called the monocots, which developed somewhere between 140 to 125 million years ago. The monocots contain pondweeds, yams, pandans, lilies, orchids and irises, spider lilies, palms,
So many
banana
things.
plants, grasses, and bromeliads like pineapples. I want to highlight grasses because this group includes all the cereal crops like corn, wheat, rice, maize, barley, and loads of other cultivated crops, which basically make up around half of human food and cover a fifth of the Earth's land.
Wow, a fifth?
The monocots contain about 85,000 species,
That
but
is
incredibly nearly
absolutely
half of the
fucked. Did you just hear that? That's crazy cool. / bad.
these are different types of orchid, which have got around 30,000 different species.
Oh, you got one of these?
And one of these gives us vanilla.
Or bay
Monocots
tree.
are one of the two major groups of flowering plants. Everything else we'll meet from now on are on the other major kind of flowering plant called eudicots. The eudicots are the most diverse group of plants today and appeared around 125 million years ago. The eudicots are split into three different subsections: the early diverging eudicots, the rhosids, and the asterids. The name monocot and eudicot
Oh, here we go.
come from how many leaves they sprout out of the ground.
See if I'm right.
Monocots typically have one seedling leaf when they first grow, but the eudicots have two. This
go.
seedling leaf is known as a cotyledon.
Let's go.
So monocot is short for monocotyledon, for single seedling leaf, and eudicots are short for eudicotyledon, for two seedling leaves. Also, all eudicots share a distinctive type of pollen, which is described as triculpate because it's got three characteristic grooves. But a lot of the classification of plants into these different groups comes from looking at and finally combing through their DNA. The early diverging eudicots contain buttercups, which are also related to poppies and clematis.
Use the genus, please.
Proteas, like lotuses and banksias.
Thank you.
Then we have gunneras, who have some of the biggest plant leaves in the world, which can be as wide as a double bed. Then there are mistletoes, and then
Okay. Holy shitballs, Batman. Look at this chicka.
Spiky cacti,
As
whose
big as a
needle-like
double
spines
bed. That's
are actually
crazy.
hard,
Alright,
pointy leaves.
let's make some mushrooms.
Cacti are also related to the carnivorous Venus flytrap. But carnivorous plants aren't unique to this group. There are over 700 species of plant that catch and kill animals. They typically live in environments with poor, boggy soil, so they evolved many strategies to get their minerals from their victims by trapping and absorbing them with fast-closing jaws or sticky flowers, or slick drowning pools that can trap animals as big as mice and small rats. Then we have the saxifrages, which contain stonecrops, peonies, witch hazels, and gooseberries, which have only recently been recognised as being related based on DNA evidence.
Oh, is he native?
Although it's still a mystery how the saxifrages are related to the other groups. The rosids appeared around 100 million years ago, and their 90,000 species are now found all over the world. The major groups in the rosids are grapevines, geraniums, fuchsias, which are also related to pomegranates. Then we have passion vines, which are also related to poinsettias and violets. Then wood sorrels. And roses, which are also related to figs and cannabis.
He's using common names, so it's like...
Then the legumes, which include peas and beans. Then oaks, which are related to walnut trees. And then all the squash plants like pumpkins. Then we have the hibiscuses, which are also related to the cacao tree, where we get chocolate from. Then we have the maples, which are also related to horse chestnuts. And finally, one of the most important groups for our food, the brassicas, which contain mustard and a single species of plant called Brassica oleracea, which, by artificial selection, humans have turned into cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, kohlrabi,
look how many things we made out of
and
it.
many more new ones like purple sprouting broccoli.
How crazy is that?
All from a single species from within this group. So the rosids are clearly very important for our food. And interestingly, there are more than 80,000 edible plants in the world, but 90% of the food we eat comes from just 30 plants.
Wow.
The other plants are either inedible or actively toxic. In fact, there are more toxic plants than non-toxic plants. Land plants develop toxic chemicals as a defense to protect them from getting eaten, mainly because they can't run away. Also, some plants use sharp thorns or spiky leaves like these hollies, and others, like stinging nettles, use stings which act like hypodermic needles to inject painful chemicals. With around 100,000 species, the asterids are as diverse and as widespread as the rosids. The asterids appeared around 89 million years ago and contain dogwoods and the related hydrangea. Then we have rhododendrons, which is also where we find tea. And then we have the coffees, which are also related to gentians. Then forget-me-nots, mints. Then potatoes, which are also related to aubergine, morning glories, and the chili peppers. We also have hollies and carrots, which used to be white and inedible before being bred into today's orange ones. Then we have ivies, honeysuckles, and viburnums. And finally, asterales, which contain sunflowers and dandelions, and is where the name asterids comes from. Interestingly, a sunflower is not just one flower, but many hundreds of flowers.
At all. We kind of refer to it as Asteraceae.
Called florets, which each ripen into an individual.
Oh, see, here you go. He's going to fucking talk about it. Hang on.
And finally, asterales, which contain sunflowers and dandelions, and is where the name asterids comes from. Interestingly, a sunflower is not just one flower, but many hundreds of flowers called florets, which each ripen into an individual seed.
So that's the Map of Plants video. I hope you found it insightful, and a very special thanks to the people at Kew for helping me with the research on this video and also letting me film in their absolutely spectacular gardens.
if you've watched my channel before, you know
That
I've
was
delved
really
into
interesting.
many
I
different
learned a couple
areas,
of things
but I
there.
can only ever go so far in 20 minutes. So
He's
if
gone
your
home,
brain
let's
is
go.
hungry for
Welcome
more, I can
home.
really
We're
recommend the
making
sponsor
eggs,
of this video.
and I'm going to make some little
Brilliant.
mushrooms. I'm going to copy this.
I love using Brilliant to learn new subjects using their fun,
I'm kind of obsessed with little red mushrooms at the moment. But I've read, so we're going to do pink and white and orange and black. And white. I might not use the black. I'm kind of feeling the white dots. Oh, you just got here. How Michelin inspectors stay secret. Ooh, comparing Sims 4 from 2014 to 2022. Most useful plant on Earth? Rafting the most polluted river in Australia. I wanted to rage you, but a friend who introduced me to a whole bunch of great people to start streaming. Oh, cute! You're calling it, you've done enough work. Damn! You're not cooking leftover cream from last night. Oh yeah, that looks really good. I saw it. I saw it. It looked gorgeous. Ah, all right. Where was that? What was? Oh, most useful plant on Earth. No. Let's go back to rafting the most polluted river in Australia. Because that sounds like something fun. You know? It's fun to do.
Tassie is known to many as a home to world-class wilderness, fresh air and weird animals.
Let's go.
It also has Australia's
I'm gonna
most
get some
polluted
foil to
waterway.
make mushroom centers.
The Queen River is unable to support life. Runoff from a giant hole in the ground has turned the river into what the locals call pumpkin soup.
Aha!
This trip is part of my
Well,
midlife
well done,
adventure
Lindy. Finish the
crisis.
day.
Me and my tin cup, I'm well aware I'm part of this world.
Kimchi
Where
fried
I
rice
set out
too,
to
'cause then I would have had
experience
it for
places
tonight.
adventure
Yeah, true.
types don't tend
I
to go.
always overorder.
You want
when
to come?
I-
It's a
when I was
two-person.
doing
It's a two.
takeout.
Go on your own.
So good the next day.
On foot, then pack raft. I'll travel for 2 days, trying not to soak in too much of Australia's sickest river.
Sickest. Not in that way. Not in that way. I don't think.
I'm going to start
It's a
and
bit
finish this trip at the confluence of the King and Queen rivers, where a visitor book nailed
be
to a
one of the
tree
big
contains
ones.
the observations of those who've been here.
You got to see it to believe it. It's really beautiful. It's really pretty. The Black River and the Brown River, the King and the Queen. But I know it's a really sinister mix. Everyone should witness what happens when things go wrong. Well said, Sue and Daryl. This is from a 10-year-old. Please clean our future. Exclamation mark with a sad face and then a sun.
Come on.
I think a good opinion is based on complexity, and for me that means experiencing things. Then I've got to suit up and go and meet this river.
I'm heading with my pack raft to the highest part of the watershed that causes all the badness. It actually turns out that the source of the problem is Glover Creek, which runs down the edge of the mine, gathering up all the runoff.
Damn it! I wish I'd.
That flows
I was
into
like,
the Queen
what's
River,
the bet's
and the Queen
mining
runs
to
into
do
the
with
King
this?
River. Their confluence is where I'll finish.
Exclamation mark with a
You
sad
couldn't
face,
get a
so
more direct
that's about
line
as
down the
bad as it
Glover
gets.
itself to a big bloody ghostly chimney.
Oh, I missed it. What did it say?
I could happily spend a day. This is a remote.
Confluence is where I'll finish.
Down the Glover itself to a big bloody ghostly chimney.
In 1896, Mr. Liel was touted? Do I not know this word? Touted the greatest copper mine in the world. Does that mean like assumed, known as? Who do they fuck they think we are? They are, sorry.
I could happily spend a day.
Fucking
This is
kids.
a remarkable place to sit. Queenstown is a remarkable place. Mining can happen. Mining has to happen, I suppose, but not like this. We've got to learn our big lesson from this, if this is Australia's worst river. With environmental concerns growing, the Mount Lyell mine first closed in 1994 for remediation work, opening a year later and operating until the death of miners in 2014.
What?
It's been in caretaker mode ever since, no longer supporting jobs or producing metal.
So what's it doing?
There's a real sense of optimism too as I sit here and I'm about to descend.
Oh, I watched a really good video on the asbestos mine in WA. That shit was fucking terrifying.
Perfect storm of a mine that over 140 years has done all the wrong things.
I took it off my watch later.
It's exciting because I'm not really sure what will happen, what I'll see, what I'll experience, but more importantly, what I will think.
Alright, that'll do. We've got a few mushies.
I mean, what humans do is just remarkable, isn't
It
it?
means like claimed. Got it.
You could look on this scene with a sense of awe in so many ways. It's as impressive as the natural mountain itself. It's almost as big as it. In 1 year, in the late 1800s, this one mine was responsible for as much GDP as the entire of Tasmania. Every apple, every beer, every bottle of whiskey, every bale of wool.
Wow.
There was a world famous mine 120 years ago, and they pushed it. So I'm going to take samples all the way along today, and I want to start by taking it in this dam at the very top of the watershed. Being able to detect DNA from the environment is groundbreaking stuff. No longer do folks have to trap animals, take photos or collect poo to find out what lives in and from this watershed. By the end of this adventure, small cylinders trapping DNA are going to tell us if this river is as dead as Wikipedia tells me it is.
Oh, I thought he was just going to say Wikipedia.
It feels like it's kind of a natural watercourse here.
My dad told me he donated to
Just
Wikipedia
clear as
the other
day still. Then all of a
Sweetest
sudden
thing
you're
I've ever
reminded
heard.
that not quite as natural as it seems. The River of Tyres. It's like the Earth's organs in a massive pile next to a water
fingerprints.
body.
I don't have gloves, all right? I'd wear them if I had them.
Since this mine opened, 1 million tonnes of copper, 750 tonnes of silver and 45 tonnes of gold have been extracted.
Not quite wide enough, is it?
That's a lot of good stuff that we don't often see running the world around us. Until the mine closed down in 1994, about
Used to come and kick
1.5
out of the
million
water.
tonnes of sulphuric tailings entered the river system each year. This 100 million tonnes have been deposited on the banks and the bed of the King River and in the delta where it enters Macquarie Harbour.
Good stuff.
You can see this from space.
What?
Since tailings are no longer directly dumped into the water bodies, the big problem now is runoff, called acid mine drainage. I think I can see a mitigation measure. They've made like an aqueduct above it to take the water, meaning that Glover Creek there is now dry because they've diverted water to this
got it.
aqueduct. The water here is remarkably
Good solve,
clear.
gang.
I don't know if this is a modern step or not, but seems like a good idea. This is more like the Tassie we know of. I'm pleased to say this is a pretty wild little section. It's growing back beautifully. So you can really see this system working now that they've tried to do. The water, the diversion water, is still really clear. But what we can see down there is Glover, and it has turned orange. So in the space of 500 metres, this is clear, that is not. Yeah, this is your moonscape.
Humanity needs precious metals. They form the fabric of civilization, and we have to dig to get ourselves out of the crap and a reliance on fossil fuels.
Wow.
I was born in Queensland, I can say it, all right?
I'm walking through a landscape that can't grow weeds after 80 years of sulfuric rain from smelting.
Maybe he's a Tassie, I don't know.
I have never in my life travelled through that kind of landscape.
This is very simple. We've made a monumental mistake.
Maybe it's win-win. Maybe you crank this thing up again and you put so many layers of protection on the environment that it kind of increases or supercharges the fight back. I don't know. Jesus, I can see a big piece of orange. I'm not sure if that's the Glover.
Yeah. Not looking good, boys. Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, llama. Welcome in. I don't speak French. Welcome in. How are you? I'm just making some eggs. Watching some shit about a river. Sorry, I didn't see you chat. Welcome in.
I'm actually really keen to get on the river proper, in a sense, to switch from land to water.
Yeah. The orange
I want to inflate the raft. I think I stink, but I think there's something going on with the river too, maybe. No, it's probably just me. See the orange in the filter?
Just some baby ones. Look how close to the residentials it is as well. It's crazy. That's okay. You're not bad at English, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Hope you're well. I'm G, or Blogger Dad. And I make stuff, and we hang out, play games. Today we're making little mushrooms and little fried eggs out of clay. Because I make egg shit. I make premium egg content.
In many respects it's about the Queen, but in some ways it's about every river in the world we've stuffed up. We should not do that again. And for this river, we should put a truckload of money and human energy into fixing it.
Yeah. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Bit of accountability.
And so the little Glover Creek, flowing like pumpkin soup, completely and instantly turns the Queen River into Australia's sickest water. Rarely is the Queen rafted, usually too shallow and actually far more orange than today. But a heavy week of rain has diluted the flow, giving it just enough water to paddle.
And so here around Queenstown,
I think
little
it's
town.
polymer clay. I'm just going to put in, it's kids clay. I'm going to put it in
It's
the
very rare
oven
for me to stop in town
for like
and
half
go
an
and
hour
have
at 110, I think.
a cup
It's
of
for
tea
children.
and some lunch.
It's for toddlers. I'm a toddler.
Hey fellas. I'm paddling down the Queen. I'm just having lunch. Yeah, it's a bit low. It'll do the job. I'm just going to get a quick sanger and get down to the confluence.
Absolutely. So Australian.
G'day. 2 vegetarian pasties.
Oof, yes please.
Down the Queen River.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not. Come
What do you reckon?
You're
Have you
not.
seen many people paddle your river before?
No.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Obsessed.
Finally enjoying myself again. This is good.
I
In the sun.
can't do 4. I
They're
have
real
to do
nice
5.
ladies.
We can't have even numbers.
She don't reckon anyone's ever paddled
It's
it.
ridiculous.
It's been here her whole
My
life.
brain will explode.
She's witnessed it go from grey
Words
to
are hard
orange.
for me today, huh?
Out of towners,
I
hey?
use it too, really?
Washing up on a raft and eating
You do
pasties
steampunk
and
stuff like
drinking
magnets
ginger
and
beer, then
bottle
buggering
covers.
off.
That's awesome.
Judging the place
That's
as we
awesome.
leave.
I don't know where all my eggs are.
We
I
can't
think
help
I've
ourselves.
posted
Comparing
them all
this
out. I
town to
usually
the
have one
towns
here.
we've come
They
from.
look like that.
The weather, the coffee,
But I also make
price of
stuffed
things.
eggs, like look here on the left.
But I gotta say, I love the place.
I make plushies.
The Wild West nature of things, the loose characters, the hills. Other than the state of the river, this is my kind of town.
Medium size, like this size.
Arguably one of the friendliest bunch of people I've met in ages.
Yeah, I got it.
Everyone's friendly.
It's the squishy boy, yeah.
Not there yet. I imagine it's a town that everyone knows everyone.
If you like
You
playing
don't get
games,
away
you're
with
welcome to
much in a
join us
town
on
like this.
Saturday night. We do community games on
That's
Saturday
pretty good for the river in the future.
Hang out.
Because if you get the locals on board, that's your strongest lobby group.
Locals.
Shit.
I know what I'm doing. I'm just making this shit up. I never worked with this stuff before. So, not
You know
a
what?
pro.
Being on a river without a paddle isn't as shit as it's made out to be. No. It means you have to think about what you're doing. Problem solving instead of problem seeing.
I don't have gloves. I got fingerprints all over
Adventure
everything.
takes
It's a
over,
nightmare.
and my old mate optimism
But it's
makes
fun.
a return.
It's soothing my brain.
Can't let go of your paddle bow. Bit shallow. I got, I rubbed my bum along a lot of the rocks.
Okay.
Be nice to see what the sort of difference is between this famous Orange River and then relatively healthy rivers that come in or creeks that come into it from all other places. I'll be damned, the train just went past. It's cool.
I keep getting asked, mainly by Mum, which is fair enough given she spent years making sure I was healthy. Why the hell search out adventures in places that might make you sick? It's a good point, Mum. Why not head to healthy and vibrant rivers in Tassie? There's plenty of them. I'm here because it's a little harder to convince myself to be here, which challenges what an adventure landscape looks like.
First time with clay? Oh, I've just made these eggs before.
It's as if the
and I
premise
made
of the
a
story
giant
interests
barrel
me
of
as much
sex
as the
glue
physical task itself.
once. And when I say giant, I mean very small. I'll show
I actually
you.
have a hard time pinning down if I like what I'm doing. What does being here mean for the river?
It's in my little
How beautiful, the old
miniature
train
sex
station.
dungeon I made. Yeah, let me show you.
I know where I'll be sleeping tonight.
See the lube in the
golly.
back? It's blue.
I think the river will rise a bit tonight too, and I'm not too fussed about that. That's a good thing.
Don't mind all the sex toys.
I love sleeping in joints
but,
like this.
I
love
made
it.
some dildos too.
I don't know whether anyone slept in this little Mount Lyell Mine and Railway Co.
Thank you so
Ltd
much.
shack
I love diorama.
near a dog. It's bad.
Little
You
latex
never want to alert dogs.
doorknob.
Dogs alert their owners. The owners sniff around and they realise someone's sleeping in a train station. Oh yeah, leftover
Oh, baby wipes. I don't have any, but I'll pick some up next time. That's a great call.
Look at
Good
those.
tip.
Good choppers.
Yeah, no, it's not my media at all. I
Doing
just
my
like to try
teeth
everything.
before going to bed at 7:30 at night.
A drawer and
I've got a
soap
drip right next to my
and-
head. It's about a foot away.
And do minis.
I can live with that.
Which is really fun.
My dentist says,
I'm just using a
pretend
knife at this
you're
stage.
brushing the
Knife is
skin
my
of a
tool.
tomato. You don't want to push too hard and ruin the tomato.
I should get the oven on as well. Oh no, it's really quick to preheat.
Good advice.
To preheat. Alright, let's make little blobs again. It's been so long
Most
since we made
days,
blobs together.
regardless of what happened the day before, I wake up as a bloke who can't wait to get into the day.
All right, here we go. Day 2. Nice little rapid to start the morning off.
Nice little rapid.
There we go. Nice little roll.
Yeah, I know. I don't have any gloves,
Today the Queen
unfortunately,
had
or I
changed her
definitely have
stride.
them on.
As if I'd been holding
Not a
hands
glove
with a
girl.
walker who's decided to run. As I headed towards the confluence where I'll finish,
These
I
blobs
wondered
are
if
too
my
big.
mood would take on the river's new urgency. Where you become a paddler first and a thinker second.
I've washed my hands like 3 times. Like it's just they're
Which
just
in the
gonna be a bit
past has
funky.
often meant you're a little more immediate with
Ads
your
are going to
thoughts and
start soon.
actions
Heads up. They go for
and
3
more
minutes
oblivious
or
to
2
the
minutes,
world
sorry.
around you.
So maybe have a little pee break or a drink break, and I'll be right here doing this in 2 minutes.
The deal with these is that you stop plunging water through when you can no longer do it. And I'm about to bust the plastic,
Bro.
which shows the
So
turbidity
one of those
of the
life
water.
straws.
I fear I've got a fair bit in me too, actually. Well, that's Tassie. She rains.
Just collect it, my guy. Just saying. Got a boat right there.
You know, there were times in there, in that last 5 kilometres, where I had to remind myself that I'm here on a really sick piece of water. Because around me, it didn't look like that. It looked like the wild, famous Tasmania that has
Tassie is
animals
so
in it that
beautiful.
nowhere else in the
I can't
world
wait to visit
live.
again. I went when I was young.
Masses of
kid.
rain and
Loved
trees that are so exotic. And diversity that's off the charts.
Off the charts, diversity.
It's true. The landscape around me was alive. Animals of all shapes and sizes going about their business, shedding their unique DNA into the watershed. Yet from the samples taken, not a single DNA sequence was detected in the Queen River. Acidity had killed it, much like the fish and aquatic life that should be here.
Wow.
The tragedy of this river is that life abounds around it, but the water itself is unlivable.
Wow, 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 wow.
And that's a welcome ray of sunshine.
Shit, there's little scope to... Oh.
Something a little unnerving about not knowing where I am in the world. But I've got to shut up to navigate through this. Righto, you got this, Bodie.
How will we steal her identity?
Left and a right.
Are you gonna get all my millions? Go on. Get me a home loan, will you? Please. Do you mind developing?
I finally meet the river properly.
What?
Full immersion in a liquid world that can't support life.
Go on, steal my identity.
It turns out.
Have fun with it. It's a wild ride over here.
So what do I say in the visitor's book? I don't know. I could sit here and write an essay.
If someone low-key started a credit
The
card in
thing
my
with
name and I
experiencing
found out,
rivers
I'd
like
probably
this is that I'm not just
I'd be like, oh,
seeing it on my skin
you've justified a
and drip
credit
from my hands and my hat.
I wouldn't cancel it.
My water bottle's been rolling around in the bottom of the raft and I can
All right,
taste this
we're
river.
off dots, so let's start applying.
I'm no expert in what bad rivers taste like, but I've tasted blood plenty enough.
Put it away for a sec.
Bit my tongue or had a cracked lip.
Ew, is he saying it's
This
rich
river
in
tastes
metal?
like blood.
That's so gross.
I'm told that blood tastes like metal, and so that makes sense.
Oh, you don't know what blood
What do I
tastes
write
like?
that? That
Okay.
this river tastes like blood?
Pussy.
No, I didn't write that.
Come on.
Because as I sat at the confluence, freezing my ass off,
No, Tara. That's
inspired and
awful.
angry,
Yeah, no, I do not wish upon
it occurred to me that I might be onto
a
something.
farce.
Storytelling. Heck, sharing a story is all I have. Otherwise, I'm just a bearded paddler who's had himself an okay time on the sickest water in Australia.
Again, every time he says sickest, I'm like, dope, dude. Fucking rad, dude. Bo, sorry. Bo Mills. Good little, interesting little piece you've done there. I enjoyed it. Has anyone got any cool vids they want to add to the queue? I'm just a bearded paddler. Fucking same, bud. Oh no.
Welcome back.
Comic relief.
Tonight we reopen the doors to the den, where our hopeful entrepreneurs, all fueled with business ambition, and driven by a need for cash, are poised to descend the stairs and pitch to our 5 multi-millionaire investors.
Warning!
Economic times may be tough, but all I can say is that through bust and boom, the Dragons have had one consistent aim: to put their own money into the next big thing. Our first entrepreneur is mother of 3, B. London, who has a tiny, tiny slice of the huge beauty market in the UK, and she wants the Dragons' help to make that slice a little larger.
We'll watch one, see if it's any good. I want it to be faster than this. Oh no, they're all like, I'm so sorry for the first one. Okay, maybe we should watch the first one. Oh no. Okay, well, like, no. I can't. Are they making their own compilations? God damn. Look at him. So cute. Is there supposed to be sound or?
A character.
Yes.
Like the sort of technology you're seeing.
Oh my god, I can't. What are we about to witness?
Sorry about the delay. Here's Jack.
Wow. The dragons. I can't believe I'm in front of the dragons for the first time ever. Well, I'm here on behalf of David Field.
Time to go to work. See ya! Thanks for stopping in. See you next time. We'll be back Saturday.
The sort of technology you're
Check
seeing
my
right
sketch.
here. Virtual Puppet
What the fuck are we watching?
is offering you 30% stake in the company for £200,000. Virtual Puppet has an exclusive license to market this system with all the integral operating systems that make what you're seeing here possible. To my left you have Ali Cord. He actually invented this system. And that's really it, Ashley. That's about the long and short of it. Okay, thank you.
These might turn out really feral.
Puppeteer
And I'm
David
kinda-
Field
I'm here
and
for
motion
it.
capture specialist Ali Cord need a £200,000 investment to market their innovative system, which instantly animates cartoon characters. Weaving David's alter ego into the pitch has certainly grabbed the Dragon's attention, but it's left Duncan Bannatyne frustrated as to what the business is actually about.
So you put these contraptions
See you
on
later.
yourself and you stand behind the screen and you
Good
become a
luck.
cartoon character.
That's right, yeah.
Why?
It's a new medium of communication, really. It's great fun. But many people have tried to do it for years. It has been done, but computer processing power is only really
see that
now
one right
available on a mass market to make this affordable.
So it's affordable?
It is affordable.
Okay, what does it cost?
We're marketing this system for £20,000.
Oh, this is the
That's
tiny
very
one, isn't
affordable, isn't it? Yeah, what's it cost you before you sell it for £20,000?
10,400.
So it costs you 10,000, you sell it for 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your customer?
Well, we're gearing it towards branding companies, experiential marketing companies, exhibition organisers, high street or department stores.
But how many of these contraptions have you sold?
Well, we're just bringing it to market now.
Let me answer my own question.
Okay.
And you tell me if I got it right. You've sold none.
No, I've got book. We've got.
No, you sold none.
Okay, I've sold none, but I've. Yeah, you're right. Okay, we've sold none.
The
But it's not
animation
just
at the
units,
back,
it's
I
actually having
can't.
characters. Where this is a multiple.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. When you said this was affordable,
Yeah.
and then you told me it was £20,000, I
Yeah.
assumed it was £20,000 and somebody could buy it and could do all the things with it. So now it's £20,000 plus you have to buy characters or something.
Absolutely.
I prefer looking at the character than you.
I'm listening to him.
Go behind the screen.
Just stay there.
And do it from behind the screen, because I think it'll be probably
Wow.
more interesting.
Okay.
See if you can do the whole pitch behind the screen.
Do you really want me to do
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Don't want to look at you. Thank you.
The dragons might be warming to David's gremlin,
Shush.
but they're struggling to grasp
These are
how a
cursed
setup
and I
this
love them.
expensive will ever secure significant sales.
If I buy this system for £20,000, do I get a character with it for free?
You do, yeah. We design a character, yeah.
One character?
Yeah.
If I want more characters, how much?
It really depends on what you want. We've got...
If you really want this conversation to continue, you're going to have to be very, very precise. But stop using all this, it depends.
Guys, I've got to come out because I really need to... It really does depend on what character you want,
No, listen to me.
Yeah.
Just do averages, right?
Okay.
So we can all
This
make...
is future.
Otherwise
What's
we
mocap?
can't make a decision. So a character will cost £8,000-ish.
Yeah.
So you're actually pricing yourself out the market.
But it goes down. The thing is, he's the first guy who's tried to make content.
Hey. Who else does this, guys?
As a whole?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Who's capable of doing it?
Anyone.
Really nobody, because all the other systems that do this mocap, they need a stationary triangulation system, which this is not. This, you can just wear it and go wherever.
Okay.
So
you're telling me nobody can duplicate your little movement sensors? Absolute rubbish, right? I'll do it myself.
Okay.
You've got no
I'll do it
exclusivity
myself.
of products. You might have that product, but not other products.
Okay, I accept that.
All you are is a selling agent, David.
Yeah.
And you could be competing against 10 other selling agents in the market there. And on top of that, you want to take £200,000 of my children's inheritance for 30% of nothing.
I don't think it's nothing.
I mean,
It's
fair point.
enjoyable. It's not.
I don't think I'll do the orange one. It's getting kind of late. I gotta take Bud for a walk soon, so I think we'll just chill.
Theopaphetus disagrees with the entrepreneur's
I'm done with the
claims,
clay.
and it's pushed him away from any potential investment. Peter Jones can contain himself no longer either.
Why?
Why?
Gee, you're honestly amazing.
Why would anybody want this?
Why? Because it's fantastic.
Look at these little eggies.
£20,000 to have that in
Look
their
at these
house.
little cursed
Big companies
mushrooms I'm
spend
going to
so
put a
much
stick
more
in.
than that.
There's a
Can I
big
ask you more
one
specifically?
and a
Tell me,
medium
who
one.
do you think is your biggest market? Who is going to be the biggest
I
buyer
made
of
them
this product?
Do you
bulgy.
mind if I turn the voice down?
And
Yeah,
there's
turn
a
it
little
on.
baby one.
Well, in the first place,
And
we're
it's
gearing
warty
towards
and I love
branding
it.
companies, experiential marketing companies.
I'm going to bake him now. Let's
Branding
bake him.
companies are
Let's
very
make a little
branding
indent on the bottom.
Branding company is someone who's defining what
Because
a
there's
company
foil
is
there and we forgot to
in
put a
terms of
hole,
how
so we're
they're
going to have
seen
to
by the
super glue
outside.
everything. Oh,
And
that's
what
good.
would a branding
That's a good
company
one.
do with this product?
Branding companies really need at the moment to jump into the 21st century. They need to bring their printed ideas to life. They need to have interactive marketing systems that are just that
Where's the
come to
pink
life,
at?
basically.
Did I
I'm
finish
still
it?
confused. So I'm a private equity house. I'm imagining I'm going to buy this.
I didn't finish it,
My
did I?
branding companies come to me. They've recommended this. So how am I going to use this?
Did I
to
finish the
promote my
pink? I
company?
swear I didn't.
You could actually have a character
Oh, there
that
it
actually
is.
talks to the
I was
public,
about to put a
gets
different pink
feedback,
on.
has fun with the public.
They're super
I
cute.
get it.
Aww. I'll send you one. Do you want one?
David's in trouble. He's failing to convince the remaining dragons that there's a lucrative market for the virtual puppet. Now, Duncan Bannatyne's curious about the puppeteer himself.
David,
Which one was it?
tell me about your life. as a
Fuck's
puppeteer.
sake. Oh, there we go.
I sell puppets on the street.
What kind of puppets?
I sell monkeys. I sell birds. I sell marionettes. I sell.
Oh, puppets.
I sell all sorts of puppets.
Has he made a living?
I wouldn't say make a brilliant living.
But you get by?
Yeah, I get by.
And you think
All
this is
right,
going to be
oven on at
I think this is, yeah. I think this is a fantastic
110
system.
or 230 Fahrenheit.
It's not.
I
I
think
think
it
you
is.
should continue, David, to sell puppets on the street. I'm out.
Right, David Alley. I'm going to take you from the virtual world to the real world.
Okay.
Nice, quirky, fun. The issue is the fact that I don't think you're going to make money. So I question the whole application where I started before. Why? And that's why I won't invest in you today.
Okay.
And I'm out.
The duo's pitch is crumbling. Only 2 dragons now stand between them and expulsion from the den. Will James Caan throw them the lifeline they so badly need?
The only thing I've come up with in my mind is 2 observations. One is I'm having a kiddies party, I've got 20 kids in a room, got a plasma, and your puppet can talk to the kids. Well, no one's going to blow 20 grand on a kids party with an interactive puppet, or You're going to have a plasma in a reception.
Let's put them in the
where
oven.
It talks to people. I can't see where somebody would pay £20,000 to £30,000, including the 8,000 add-on for the character. So I think it is not a business.
Is that what he said, Tara? I missed it. Oh my god! I think you should continue to sell puppets.
I'm out.
Ooh. Oh, pack down. Pack down time.
4 dragons out. It's all but over for David.
I had fun. I just wanted to play a little bit with some crafty wafties.
Give me one place you would see one of those being put.
In the high street, in
If I was trying to get national brand recognition, how many high streets would I have to be in with that character interacting to make a difference?
Well, I don't think it would work like that, exactly like that, because I could see, you know.
So how many? Would it be quite a lot?
But what you must understand as well.
You see, you are guessing the answer, and you're trying to avoid answering the question because the question answers your issue. Where would this actually be applied?
Let's go check how long it's for.
We can apply it in. The applications are really quite enormous.
But just give me one.
30 minutes.
Advertising.
No, where? Where do you actually see one of those sitting and making a substantial effect on
well, we've got one booking at the moment. It's to create a digital character that welcomes all the people into a big photographic imaging.
Okay, we got it. Related videos. I wish you could see him.
Well, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name's David Pybus. I'm looking for £80,000 for a 20% share in my company. I'm a qualified chemist and marketeer. I'm an author of best-selling books of their genre, which is perfumery. And I'm an aromancer.
Perfumery?
Aromas. I'm also known by the media as the Indiana Jones of the business because what I do is look for perfumes lost in time, find them, rediscover them, recreate them,
remarkable,
and get them ready for the market. I have a range of 15 perfumes. They are created by a billion-dollar perfume company that I work for as a consultant. So they are top-notch fragrances, and we're talking A-list celebrities here. We're talking fragrance from the debris field of Titanic, the fragrance of Blue Lotus, which is the perfume of Cleopatra, which has a hallucinogen in it. You can't get it from smelling it, but I reckon
is he
that's what she
repackaging
used
them
on
as something
Mark
else?
Antony
Hey,
and,
Blue.
Caesar.
Thanks, babe.
I'm looking conservatively for less than 0.1% of the global market, which is £15 billion. I've got around 6 routes to market, 2 major retail routes, another which is more prestige fragrance that I'm developing, home selling in America where I have contacts, and internet is a consideration, and finally I have a national newspaper, non-tabloid, that is interested in a readership offer based on the sense of time, perfumes lost in time. All I can say, Dragons, is if you work with me, you really will come up smelling of roses. Thank you.
What do we think? I even think this one's that bad.
It's rare for perfumes to appear in the den. Many entrepreneurs stay clear of such a competitive market dominated by global brands. David Pybus is convinced there's a niche for his glamorous historical replicas. But can he persuade the Dragons to pay £80,000 for 20% of this unusual
Forge's
business?
perfumes, right? That I'm
Tell us
hearing
about
him
you.
correctly.
Where did you come from? What have you been doing? How did you get involved in this?
Okay. Well, as I say,
I
I'm
ran a
chemist,
meth
and I've
lab.
been involved in the business of chemistry all my life with 3 big blue chip companies. The last one is a $1 billion fragrance company.
How long were you there for?
20 years.
Right, and you left?
As part of that, when I read in the year 2001 that they'd found a bag of perfumes on board Titanic, my heart went like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, and I realized if I came back from America with this, we could recreate it. While we were looking at that, I read that they'd found a complete perfumer's house buried in Pompeii, and I went out to Pompeii. I worked with botanists and archaeologists there to see what he was growing in.
While you were working for this company?
Yes.
In their place.
David might have successfully resurrected scents from the past, but marketing expert Deborah Meaden is more interested in the potential profits for any investor.
You talked about routes to market. And you've got two major retailers on board.
I'm in debate with World Duty Free, which has 23% of all perfume sales in the United Kingdom, and who I teach creative perfumery to. So I have an established relationship. And I'm in negotiation with Boots.
Boots, major retailer. Where are you with them?
Just really exchange of communications with them.
What does that mean? Telephone calls, you've got a letter from them, so they've
telephones
expressed
and emails where they're considering it.
This is the disaster scenario. It's Black Friday. An electronics store has acquired a massive supply of scarce 9th generation game consoles, and to generate buzz, they're selling them at a massive discount, offering buyers an immediate arbitrage opportunity
Hopefully it's good.
if they sell the devices on. With a 3 per person limit, people can effectively earn hundreds of dollars just by standing in line. But there's not really
We've seen it?
Rather, it's more of a mess.
I love this kind of stuff. Crowd control, festivals, risk management stuff was when I first got into it when I was running festivals.
Contracted security only arrives
and it's scary shit.
They're able to push through
how
to the
people,
entrance
how
and
crowds
get on a
move.
megaphone to say,
really,
we need you to
really
form an
scary.
orderly line. There are only 500 consoles. We will not be able to accommodate everyone, so we need you to form an orderly line this way. The crowd does not
someone
comply.
explodes.
The minutes count down, and upon opening time, the security team decides to carefully let small groups in from the front of the crowd, assuring that the
as in the
store and
person
staff
window.
does not
Yeah, we
get
watched one
stormed.
before.
Fast forward 30 minutes, and this will lead to a crowd crush. It's entirely predictable. The back of the crowd, concerned about the fast dwindling supply of consoles, will each individually, almost subconsciously push forward.
Shuffle.
The core of the crowd will get compacted down, individuals will no longer have the ability to move freely, and an unlucky few will get asphyxiated. They quite literally will get crushed so hard that they're unable to adequately breathe. Their closest way out is into the store, leading to a further push forward, but the security, tasked with keeping the mass out of the store, will brush off the police for entry as an inevitable dynamic of a greedy, disorderly crowd. That's to say, each of these 3 groups have different incentives: the back of the crowd to get the consoles, the security to keep the crowd out, and the core of the crowd to simply survive, but they'll all lead to the same result: an ever-escalating crush. But the absolute overwhelming majority of crowds do not end up crushing themselves. So what is it about this rather innocuous, all-too-believable situation that makes it so end up crushing themselves?
God.
So what is it about this
Too
rather
many
innocuous,
people.
all-too-believable situation that makes it
There's
so
too many people.
dangerous? Well, it starts with who the people are. You see, there's an antiquated view that mass gatherings of people almost inevitably devolve into a mindless state, that the participation in the collective dehumanizes the individual and makes them more willing to act in a disruptive, dangerous way, but more recent research has started to dispel that notion. Interestingly, in the exact situation where you'd expect people to disengage from the collective good, panic, and work selfishly, in emergencies, people tend to do the exact opposite. If a fire were to start in an overcrowded building, you might expect people to rush the exits, to mindlessly push those in front just to get away from the threat, but that happens remarkably rarely. Of the 21 major crowd crushes to have occurred so far this decade, just 2 involve people running away from a deadly threat. One in Yemen spurred by an electrical explosion, and one in Egypt where worshippers fled to escape
I am
a
also
church fire.
a crowd splitter.
This is entirely counterintuitive.
Good at festivals and the club.
Running away from a fire
Can
is
see
clearly
everything.
a stronger incentive than gaining the right to buy a console, so researchers were curious
So
as to
tall and
why
gorgeous.
the frequency of crushes was so much lower in the direction with lower incentive. Consider a common anecdote. On a normal
look,
flight,
it's
people
Cusco and
barely
Lid.
talk.
Thrust
They'll sit
mastering
shoulder to
across the
shoulder with
sky.
their fellow traveler for 4 or 5 hours without even acknowledging their presence once. But as soon as a flight gets delayed, that changes. People start talking. They start problem solving. They get friendly. They'll even share food.
So true.
If the flight gets canceled, this cooperation often extends
Common
further.
enemy.
And those that were complete strangers just minutes before might decide to work together and share a rental car to drive to their destination instead. Crowd psychologists have noticed the pervasiveness of this anecdote, and they think they have an explanation. It's
My
all
plane gets a bit
about
more touchy.
identity. When ambling around the airport, there is little shared identity beyond traveler, which
You have
is
very
weak since
unique
it is shared by
damage
so many.
control
But
on
when a
your
flight gets
flight on board
delayed,
Kiss
the
Airlines.
identity shifts and concentrates. Now it's distress
Very
traveler,
unique.
a unique identity
And
shared
unfortunately, if I
only
hadn't
by the
signed an
unlucky
NDA
few.
upon
What
getting on the
researchers
plane,
have
I
found
would
is
share
that
it with
the
you.
greater the degree of shared identity, the greater the degree of cooperation among
You're
a
a
crowd.
good crowd splitter
They've even been able to
too.
test this. For
Tara.
example, in a simulated evacuation of a London Underground station, study participants were more likely to help a distressed person if that person was wearing the jersey of a football team the participant was a fan of.
Oh my god,
Conveniently,
so
most events
true.
involve a shared identity. People amass as fans of a team, followers of a religion, protesters for a cause. There's almost always a shared
It's like the
identity that
difference
justifies
between
the
having a
assembly,
face
which
cam
helps
and
to
not
keep
having a
order
face
even when
cam.
tens or hundreds of thousands of people gather.
People
And this can help to
immediately
explain
just
the
find
infrequency
things
of
and subconsciously are
evacuation-based
like,
crushes.
oh, I
On a
associate
normal
with you
day
or I
in the London
don't
Underground,
associate with you.
the mass's only shared identity is commuter. But then there's an explosion. In that moment, identity immediately concentrates and strengthens. Now everyone is a victim of the same rare disaster. In the 2005 London Underground bombings, researchers interviewing victims observed a through line of perceived unity among the victims in the moment, and countless examples of selfless, cooperative behavior, even at the risk of personal peril. This is observed in almost any disaster. There is always a high degree of crowd cooperation, far beyond what might often be portrayed in fiction, that typically leads to rather orderly, crush-free evacuations. But another curious anomaly in crowd crush statistics is that it is quite rare for them to occur during civil unrest, during the very activity that defines mob mentality. The only major crush to occur during a riot this decade was 2022's Kanjuruhan Stadium disaster in Indonesia, but that was caused by a mass of field-invading football fans fleeing from police-fired tear gas.
What was that?
Not the riot.
What was that crush in England at the football game? In like the 60s, 70s? Oh, I just remembered the footage of it after seeing this shot.
Itself. The last major riot-related crush before that was also caused by police intervention during 2016 protests in Ethiopia. As rare as it is to find a
English
crush
people
during
often
a
crush on
riot, it
football,
is
it's
yet
true.
rarer to find one where police intervention is not the cause.
Okay,
This
children
is strange. According to traditional theories, people lose their sense of self during such activities. They act savagely, feeding off the energy of the masses.
1989.
And yet, somehow, the
was it
very
almost
crowd
in
in
the
which one
90s?
would
I thought it
expect
was,
the highest
much
degree of
earlier.
disorder is able to avoid
My
the
bad.
worst better than the football or concert or ritual going
Totally
masses.
wrong period.
An explanation comes from the inverse, the annual Hajj
97
pilgrimage,
people died.
one
Yeah,
of
it
the
was
world's largest
horrific.
events where more than 2 million Muslims descend on Mecca to visit the spiritual center of
You're
the
a
world's
straight
second
chaser.
largest religion. This is exactly the kind of event where one would expect to see high crowd cooperativeness. After all, compounding the strong shared identities of Muslim and pilgrim, all 2 or 3 million are expected to be in a state of ihram, or ritualistic purity of the body and mind, to the extent that they're not even allowed to break branches from trees, and yet
Let's go.
this pilgrimage was home to both the 20th and 21st centuries'
would you
most
want to?
deadly crowd crush tragedies, each counting well over 1,000 dead. Considering the history, researchers have long used the Hajj as a source of study of crowd psychology, and one important conclusion came from the very center of the Muslim world, the Kaaba. This stone structure is said to be the house of Allah, the single holiest site in Islam. So one of the most significant elements of the Hajj is prayer in the Grand Mosque of Mecca facing the Kaaba. There are two
Kaaba.
main areas in which one can do this. The circular plaza, directly surrounding the Kaaba, or on the balconies above. The plaza is probably the best spot since it has an unobstructed view of the Kaaba, whereas the balconies have these pillars that obstruct the view
We're
from
gonna wrap
some.
up soon. I'm just waiting for the
Researchers
clay
questioned
debate,
how
and then
this
I'm gonna
might
go take
impact
Bud for a
that
walk.
all-important crowd cooperativeness, and therefore surveyed more than 1,000 pilgrims to find out. As they expected, the balconies, the area where there is a more variable experience, an experience improved by how much one pushes and shoves to get that best spot, saw a lower degree of crowd cooperativeness.
Crafting was fun.
That's to say,
Timer.
as competitiveness
When the
goes
timer
up,
finishes, I'll show you.
cooperativeness
They're in the
goes
oven.
down.
I did
In
eggies and
riots,
mushrooms.
though, there is little competitiveness. There is not a particular something to be gained or lost, and therefore there is little incentive.
watching a
to
video
push
about
and
crowd
shove.
control
Not only
psychology.
that, but there is typically a strong shared identity. Before tensions escalated, a group of people gathered together in support of a particular cause. Therefore, riots feature two of the strongest predictors of lowered crowd crush potential, explaining how some of the least organized events manage to avoid the worst. Meanwhile, there's a particular situation at far more organized events that time and time again has led to the worst. A group of people have spent a good bit of money buying tickets and a good bit of time getting to a stadium to watch a concert or a sporting match or something.
There was something I was
with
watching
massive
where...
crowds and limited entry
Fuck,
throughput, the event is starting and
we gotta put that on the
still
watch
outside.
list. That was so
This
good. I'd watch it
exact
again.
competitive dynamic led to a 2023 crowd crush in San Salvador,
I might just keep
a 2022
I'll just,
crush
that'll
in
be my
Yaoundé,
thing.
Cameroon, a 2019
I'll do
one in
professional
Antananarivo,
singing
Madagascar,
of all the
2017 in Luange, Malawi, 2017 in Uenge, Angola. It is perhaps the most predictable crush
was like
scenario
a-
that still occurs. But you don't need to look for examples in
techno,
developing
but-
countries for this particular situation. Just look at concerts.
I forgot what the word
What makes
is.
a good
Anyway, a
concert,
genre
according
like
to
techno,
most,
but it's
is
not.
also what makes it dangerous, and that's unassigned
Show
seating.
that
In a
just
festival setting,
absolutely
unassigned
flopped so
seating is the norm,
poorly,
as seats
and
of
it
any
got
sort
its
are a
fence,
rarity,
everyone just
and VIP
stampeded. There were
tickets,
over
as
ticket
opposed to
sales. It was a
general
really
admission
good video.
tickets, often only provide
I'll find it
benefits
for
in the
next time.
form of easier access and a less dense crowd. In tighter indoor and enclosed facilities, from small local venues to massive arenas and stadiums, there's often a split in ticket options: seated tickets and floor tickets. While seated tickets are easier on organizers and crowd experts, they're seen by concertgoers and touring bands alike as boring, overly clinical, just low-energy, lifeless experiences.
Was he doing that?
Because
Was he
of this,
holding her?
bands and band fans insist on unassigned floor seating where energy is high and
Let's
crowd interaction
go!
is more dynamic. And yet, despite all its appeal to
I won't do
everyone
that.
but the organizers, general admission seating in the city of Cincinnati was entirely banned from 1979 to 2004.
Really?
The 24-and-a-half-year ban dates back to a Who concert on December 3rd, 1979. A much-anticipated show, and one that easily sold out the 18,348 unassigned seats available at Cincinnati's
So many
Riverfront
people,
Stadium.
guys.
The concert was supposed to be a celebration, not a watershed moment in crowd control and live event policy the world over. Of course, in any unassigned
When I went to
seating
Big Day Out,
environments, there's
I was at
inherent
the front
competition.
for Rage
the
Against the
best view,
Machine,
people push their way to
and
the front. In this
I got pulled
particular
over the
situation,
fence
this
'cause
competition
it started
only compounded.
being really
In
quiet.
order to get in the best position to push their way to the front, thousands had lined up outside the venue.
Yeah, it started getting pretty
After the-
rough, and it was slowly just getting tighter and tighter. But I'd made friends with this security guard earlier. We'd had a cigarette together, and he pulled me. He was like, "You good?" And I was like, And he was like, "You want to come over?" I was like, "Yeah." And he just literally just pulled me over. And they were hosing everyone with fire hoses. They had to get... There were like... I remember there were fire trucks, like on the stage side, that were shooting into the crowd. That was epic. I forgot about that.
Then gave way to evening. The crowd grew cold waiting, and once
I
the
usually
venue
like
finally
side
opened,
front,
those
or
at
I
the
sit
front
on a
were
stack.
surprised to
That's
see only
usually what I
two
do. I
meager
try and get away with
doors
sitting on a
swing wide to
pylon.
welcome nearly 20,000. Impatience grew, and tensions rose across the crowd with the delay in entry. Then, at the sound of a late sound check confused as the beginning of the concert, the dam broke. The push began from the back, far outside the venue. But the compounding pressure was felt at the
that.
front,
Look at
where
that.
people poured through the two open doors
What
with
are you
scratches,
supposed to do
torn
here?
shirts, and with
These people can't see anything. Oh no.
without shoes, while others ripped at the countless other doors still closed, not to cut in line, but to release the building pressure. At the entrance, the crowd collapsed, then it crushed, leaving 11 dead and dozens injured. In the tragedy's wake, much was made of the character of those involved, their motives, the substances they had taken, and the rock and roll culture that they had ascribed to. This much, in the aftermath of
Hillsborough
crowd-related
disaster,
tragedies,
that's what it
is a
was.
recurrent theme. At sporting matches, it's hooliganism. At concerts and festivals, it's youth culture. At religious events, it's fanaticism. But at base, it's all bad design. What blaming a selfish, crazed crowd doesn't account for is the disconnect between overmatched and understaffed security ushering nearly 20,000 people through only 2 doors. It doesn't account for people rushing those doors, not to get the best spot, but to find enough room to breathe. It doesn't account for those at the back shuffling forward, not out of ill will, but a lack of understanding as to the pressure they're exerting on the front. Blaming the crowd also fails to account for the fact that once crowd density begins to reach dangerous levels, individual agency goes out the window. In fact, at crowd density...
This is Hillsborough.
It was like any build-up to a big game.
It just goes for 2
At
minutes.
2:24, Liverpool fans are seen making the journey by foot from the station to the stadium. Kickoffs in half an hour, and people are tightly packed at the turnstile entrance to the Lettings Lane terrace. CCTV footage, which was being monitored by police that day, shows how the crowd outside was growing by the minute.
As Tara
Inside,
would say.
the two centre pens of the terrace were packed, but people were in good spirits. But at 2:40, the first real sign that things were going badly wrong, with a young boy lifted clear from the crush. Superintendent Roger Marshall, who was a police officer in charge outside the ground, is clearly worried. He later said he feared fatalities could occur.
Well, guess what?
Inside, everyone was heading to the jammed centre pens, despite there being plenty of room in the pens at either end of the terrace. 2:52, with the crowds building and kickoff drawing closer, the police made the decision to open the exit gate. Over the course of 5 minutes, 2,000 fans streamed through, with most of them heading straight to the centre pens. Just a couple of minutes into the game, it became clear something was wrong behind the Liverpool goal. It seems initially police thought it was a pitch invasion. But soon people were collapsing on both sides of the fence. At 3:06, police ordered the players off the pitch. But it still seemed they hadn't grasped the scale of the tragedy.
They had no idea what was going on outside. No one was communicating. There were like 10 cops there.
It wasn't until
Look
12
at these people, they're being
minutes past 3
crushed
that
up
the
against
first
this
medic,
cage.
a St John's ambulance volunteer, climbs over the fence onto the terrace. By then, people had already died or were dying. At the back and front of the
and they're
pen,
just on top
supporters
of
were
dead
trampled
bodies.
in the desperation. Others tried to get out however they could. Then, at 3:16, the first ambulance arrived pitchside. But that was already too late for 96 fans.
Yeah. Look at them all. Jesus Christ. Isn't it crazy?
Cities that reach higher than 5 people per square meter, a
Capacity
mark that's
laws.
considered
Yeah,
high
they
risk
weren't
for fall
around
and
yet.
trampling, individuals lose the ability to control their own movement
just
and are
did
instead
those.
at the whim of shockwaves.
Scary,
rippling
scary,
through the
scary
crowd.
stuff.
At this point, the principles defining crowd movement are
Make
closer to
capacity
fluid
laws great
dynamics
again.
than
Exactly.
anything else. It was the culmination of such factors, the disconnect between security, the front of the crowd, and the back of the crowd, along with inability once caught in the crush to do anything but move with the shockwaves, that
Fortnite
ultimately
gigs.
informed what's now known as the Who
It's okay, it was
disaster.
just English people.
Factors
Minor
that were
terror,
out
but
of the
it's a
crowd's
good case
control
story,
and factors
you know,
that
we
stemmed
wouldn't
from
want
a
it to
poorly
happen,
prepared venue
you know, to
and
anyone else.
overmatched staff. And it was these factors and their
That's
causes that
terrible.
event organizers began to consider in the disaster's wake. While Cincinnati went the furthest with an outright ban on general admission concerts, cities across the U.S. began adopting stricter regulation requirements for crowded events. The National Fire Protection Association, a nonprofit institution that authors model safety codes for municipal and state-level adoption, entirely rethought aspects of its life safety code to better account for crowd dynamics. Since the Who disaster,
I'm assuming
the
everyone
landscape of
remembers
live concert
Astro World.
events has fundamentally changed. Today, most seats are assigned, and those that aren't are heavily monitored by crowd managers and security. Entry and exit strategies, meanwhile, are no longer assumed intuitive
Astro World.
processes, but heavily planned out, redundant practice points of emphasis in event planning. But crowd crush on account of entrance issues and unassigned seating has yet to be solved. In London at the 2020 European Football Championship final,
ABC
videos
News
of
did
massive,
something on it?
unmanageable crowds from outside the famed Wembley Stadium began surfacing on social media.
Who should we
Ticketless
go
England
for?
fans, it turned
Guardian
out, had shown
or
up en masse
ABC?
for the final with the idea of storming gates and overwhelming security. Many were
2 minutes
successful
40
as
or
2,000
6 minutes
forced their
22.
way into the
You
stadium.
got me, Guardian.
More importantly, though, while crowds reached dangerous densities in the surge, there were no casualties. But it was close.
Travis Scott concert.
Turn the lights on, turn the lights on. Make some noise for my boy right there, hanging in the tree right there.
They just kept playing through it.
That's okay with you real quick. Chase me, let's do it.
There's
some people were just laughing at those of us who were like screaming to get out because they thought it was funny, and they're not realizing that this is terror. We're trying to get out of here. The crowd didn't start out that packed. There was space. We didn't sign up to come here for this.
Oh, they're just showing footage. There's a lot of pre to this, where there's very poor design in the layout of the festival.
Down right behind me.
Very poor.
And the whole time I was just thinking that they were passed out. And then once the security guard was just right next to me talking to another security guard saying that he didn't have a pulse. And that's when I knew something was really off.
Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Security, somebody help jump in real quick.
Oh, this is a very interesting take. This is fucked. This is like so manipulative. Okay, A, the festival was designed incredibly badly. The pit of, I cannot believe this. The pit was so badly designed. They had literally no security. They didn't give a fuck. People repeatedly warned them. And they went ahead, they played through people screaming like, help us, medic, stop, everyone stop. And they played through it for like a long time. And it wasn't until like a serious amount of time later that they did stop it. That made it seem like it was like, oh, as soon as he noticed. There were people like, the footage is fucked. I gotta find some evidence here, hang on. I watched a great one that showed like the layout. But all of the fucking news stations have gone on top of the like video essayists. I wonder who I would have watched it from. But it was like, you know, it went for 40 minutes. It was like a proper... Anyway, can't find it. T-shaped pit. It was fucked. Yeah, you know the one. This is fucked. See, you have the Guardian. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, you found it. Thanks, babe. This is pretty crazy.
On the evening of November 5th, tens of thousands of people in NRG Park in Houston waited in anticipation of rapper Travis Scott's performance. But revelry quickly turned to tragedy. Ten people died and dozens were injured. To illuminate what happened amid the crowd, the Washington Post gathered dozens of videos from that night and examined them to determine where and when each was taken. We interviewed witnesses.
Got sucked into this black hole, basically.
And we had experts analyze the movements of the crowd and its density in key areas. The Post investigation found that at least 7 of those who later died were located in one area of the audience. 3 of those victims can be seen unconscious amid a pile of fans on the ground about 16 minutes into the show, which continued for nearly an hour.
16 minutes in, we have deceased bodies on the ground. The show goes for an hour. Was it another hour, did he say?
The review also reveals that minutes into Scott's show, that same section had pockets of extremely high density, according to a crowd analysis done for the Post, a circumstance that 3 experts said increased the risk of a dangerous crowd collapse. 3 crowd science experts told the Post that a surge toward the main stage would have compressed people into this area that had rigid metal barriers on 3 sides, and left little way for them to escape the building pressure. A criminal investigation is ongoing, and the causes of deaths have not been made public. But the Post's reconstruction, which includes exclusively obtained videos, shows how one section of the audience became an epicenter of chaos.
Fucking Christ.
Fans arrive at NRG Park in the early morning on Friday, long before the gates open. Over the next few hours, while some shop, eat, and attend daytime concerts, videos show instances of scattered mayhem.
Anyway, watch the video. It's good.
As findings from a following investigation reported that there were some 6,000 additional fans ready to charge the stadium had England pulled off the victory, and that the whole event hosted at one of Europe's finest sporting venues was on the razor's edge of turning to a deadly disaster. More recently, in January of 2023, north of London and east of Manchester, traveling football fans of a more ruly disposition arrived at Sheffield Wednesday for an
because it was so loud, people only meters away were just completely oblivious that people behind them or in front of them were being crushed to death. So it's not like they're able to kind of call before they're crushed. Do you know what? Does that make sense? Like, plus, if the service is out, it's like you're screwed.
Important playoff game, only to find themselves hopelessly packed into two narrow concourses in the stadium's visitor end. Following safety protocol, the turnstiles were even opened 30 minutes early to relieve pressure at the gates. But once inside, the delay of fans identifying and
people die. So welcome back, crowd crushes.
Navigating to their seats, and the fact that some seats were covered resulted in people piling in the concourses and hoisting crying kids in the air to relieve the mounting pressure. It's been more than close calls, too. Well, the blame for the 10 deaths and hundreds of injuries at the 2021 Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas, has circulated between the artist Travis Scott, the promoting company Live Nation, and the Austin-based organizer Scoremore in the course of
yeah, I sure hope it does.
Irrefutable was bad venue design. The ill-fated festival took place at the NRG Park. Home to the NFL's Houston Texans, this 350-acre complex was designed for events capable of hosting up to 200,000 people. For the Astroworld Festival, though, this number was lowered by the Houston fire chief to a maximum capacity of 50,000. But the issue here was not the size of the crowd, but the layout of the venue. Broken into two stages, it was expected that crowds would disperse between the secondary and primary stages throughout the event, which they did. But then the music ended on the second stage, and Travis Scott delayed his start on the primary. As the headliner, the anticipation was high and the crowd was unruly to begin with. And with a delay, the crowd began to grow as festival goers shifted from the west stage to the north. Because of the location of barricades that were protecting operation tents and sound systems, though, this additional thrust of people wasn't able to dissipate through the crowd, but instead it pushed an already dense crowd into what became effectively a corral. Tellingly, all the deaths occurred in this quadrant of the crowd, a function of bad timing and bad barricade configuration. Of course, with the benefit of hindsight, the design flaws that turn an unruly competitive crowd, a poorly managed event, and a largely unregulated aspect of everyday life into horrific, deadly traps is easy to identify. But bad design is easier to identify than to fix. Take this bridge complex, for example. This bridge has existed in some form since the 1960s as the sole conduit that moves Muslim pilgrims by the millions who are staying in the tent city of Mina to the Jamarat pillars for the sacred practice of stoning the devil. With only 3 pillars to stone, though, and as of this century, over 2 million Muslims a year making the trek to Mecca to take part in this Hajj ritual, this has been the site of many deadly crowd crushes. In 2004, 251 pilgrims died in a crush at the pillars. In response, the Saudi government altered the shape of the pillar's walls to allow for better crowd flow. It helped, but didn't solve the problem. In 2006, another 345 died in a crush on the bridge's entry ramp. Small fixes, it appeared, just weren't working, so the Saudi government decided to reconfigure the entire complex. For $1 billion, the bridge was widened by 260 feet or 80 meters, and atop it were now 4 additional floors and a massive awning to protect from the sun. The project was simply gigantic, signaling in no uncertain terms Saudi Arabia's investment in crowd management for one of the world's single largest annual events. With the ability to handle more than 500,000 pilgrims an hour, nearly 2 decades on since its completion, the bridge has proved more than capable of accommodating ever-growing crowds. And yet, for as magnificent and expensive the complex is, it hasn't solved Saudi Arabia's crowd crush problems. Just down the road from this complex, where pedestrian Street 206 intersects with Street 223 before then running into a simple T intersection with Street 204, Saudi Arabia in 2015 saw its worst crowd crush in the century, and likely ever, with an estimated 2,000 400 pilgrims dying at an overlooked choke point between
Holy
two
shit.
commuter routes with an
by the way,
eye-shot
I'm
of the
not trying to say
nation's
that
most
these people
impressive
don't,
crowd
or
control
anyone who's being
infrastructure.
crushed.
In just
I
hours,
just mean
a problem
people,
that seemed
humans,
fixed had
the way
taken
we
a
move,
different shape,
like
relocated at the infrastructure's nearest weak
the
point.
things we do.
With the Hajj or Astroworld or the
Ooh,
Who
Chico
concert or
Roll.
really any incident, the cause of the crush always feels just so predictable. They're all a perfect, varying mix of an uncooperative crowd, competitive dynamics, constrained architecture, and a bit of bad luck. But of course, prediction is always easier in retrospect. For every deadly festival crush, there are countless rowdy mosh pits having the times of their lives. For every doorbuster sale gone wrong, there are
You're
far
watching
more whose
Disgust.
staggering
Ooh,
numbers
milk.
bring the attention the retailer desires. It is effectively impossible to completely eliminate all risky situations because people love these risky situations. What ultimately makes the difference is rather simple and rather boring. Proper planning to mitigate crush potential, knowledge of the risk
Here we
factors,
are,
and the
got my
ability to
Yankees.
identify and respond when things get out of control. Almost every incident involves the failure of one of those three steps, and therefore, while the exact moments when a crush occurs
They look
might not be as
exactly the
predictable as it may
same.
seem, the culpability for why they occur
But they're
almost
hot
inevitably
and hot.
is. Saudi Arabia's crowd control failures at the Hajj escalated to a point where they were a legitimate geopolitical problem for the nation. In the aftermath of the 2400 fatality 2015 Mina stampede, Saudi-Iranian relations deteriorated significantly due to the number of Iranian nationals killed. After a long history of incidents, Saudi Arabia finally realized they had to get a grip on the event and invested a huge amount of money into designing a safer, more efficient Hajj system. Combining infrastructure, technology, psychology, and more, the modern Hajj is perhaps the most organized event in the world and has run accident-free since the 2015 crush. As much as we wanted to cover how this works in this video, there simply wasn't time, so rather we made a whole episode of our series Logistics of X about the logistics of Hajj. Like all the episodes of this series, that's exclusive to
Cool,
Nebula,
huh?
the creator-founded and creator-run streaming service
shit.
that's designed to be
Hashtag ad.
the best home to the stuff.
Hashtag ad. Oops. Well, that was fun. I had fun. We made some crafties. We had a relaxing little stram. Cute eggs, thanks, babes. So crafty. Yeah, they look great. They look really cute. Look at them. So cute. You slurpy uppy those blobbies. Moving on. What's everyone up to the next couple of days? Are we on for games on Saturday? Bud's so cute. He's, oh yeah, you can see him. He's doing a proper spread. He out. You should be around on Sat. Sick. Anyone else? You're please whoops. Welcome. Spreading like a real man should. Okay. Alrighty. That's enough of that. I'll be back then, basically. You're not gonna be here? Tara! Stop being social. Stop having other friends. Or if it's a serious, sad thing you have to do, I'm sorry. Huge FOMO, honestly. We're gonna have a terrorless week. Crotch Cam will be going live in about 30 minutes, Makaski. Oh shit! What's Crotch Cam? What is Crotch Cam? What's Crotch Cam? We're all gonna play Magic the Gathering. Yeah. Sorry, Tara. That's actually on the cards for Saturday is Magic the Gathering and Among Us. Lid has a camera pointed at his crotch. Okay, so it's just as it reads. Okay. Okay. You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Close-up thrust master action. Oh, we're gonna get a pilot. We're gonna get a sick pilot. Who's live? Who's got mates live? Let's raid someone. It'll be fun. We'll say hi and then we'll leave. Because I'm not gonna leave. I mean, I will leave. You're not gonna leave. I'm gonna leave and take the dog out for a stroll, which will be great. And then be back for some crotch cam. Hopefully he's still playing in an hour. Oh, Alex just went live. Let's go hang out. Because no one's in Makers. I've raided Coffee and Crochet a few times, so let's just chill on that. Ah, see? Cusco, lid, we get it. We all get it. Look at us all getting it. I wasn't even in the window. We'll wait for them to go live. What's their normal timer like? How long have they been live? 5. So maybe a few more minutes? Thanks for streamy, Weemy. How are the shops lit? You're most welcome. Thanks for joining, everyone. We made cute eggs and we watched some videos about crowd control, which was fun. I liked the plant one too. That was interesting. Did anyone like any of the videos? Sorry if no one likes it. It's something that like helps me think straight. If I'm doing something with my hands and something in the background, then I can actually like, you know, pay attention to a conversation. Shops were awful, but I avoided being crushed to death this time. Yeah. That's why we're also worried when you buy in store physical games. It's like, this can happen, you know? Just buy digital, like everyone else. Doing something with my hands helped me think straight. Jesus Christ. Pray for lid, everyone. Pray for lid. Bits were cool. Okay, cool. I enjoy it. Nice chill vibes. Oh, good. We like to chill. We like to chill sometimes and just relax. And yeah. Maybe you're doing it wrong. I love your streams. This is probably the difference. Give this a go. Oh yeah, Cusco, are we gonna talk about it? Where have I missed all your streams? Where are you? What are you doing? Why am I not watching it? Let me confront you live on stream. This is not a private matter. Remember when Cusco streamed? Yeah. Where the fuck is Cusco? Like, we all love you. We're just checking in. Where is the twink? Guys, I came back and left, literally. Literally. Tara said a really good thing the other day, or yesterday or today. I couldn't tell you when it was. But it was like, do I need to do a collab with you to get you back on? I was like, yes. Streaming on Kick, I swear to God, if you're doing slots on Kick, good on you. Because they pay way better. Do they pay 90-10 or 80-20 or something ridiculous like that? What does Kick pay? What is the Kick split? $95. 95. Did you hear what I just said? I said 95% for this streamer. And I'm pretty sure oh shit, ads. I'm pretty sure Stake owns it, don't they? Stake. The gambling side. So it's all sorts of messed up. It's so dodgy. But hey, get in while it's hot, you know? It's like crypto. People made money. 80% payout on OnlyFans, is that correct? Interesting. Facebook gaming? There's not. Is there Facebook gaming? I didn't even know that existed. Facebook is so, to me, it's in the 90s somehow, even though I was using it like 2 years ago for workplaces. It's so old. Oh, is Alex live? Let's go.
Organize my email.
Like, it's so old. And MySpace was before that. It's almost like they were a year apart, but you know, in total. Anyway, thanks for being here. Let's go say hi to Alex. I don't know what he's doing, but lovely. New Year, still thirsty with a hint of dumb. And that's exactly what I'm here for. Everyone, take care. Thanks for being here today. Take care of yourselves. Let's all go watch Ladowski's Crutch. And his new toy, the Thrustmaster. I said it. I done said it. Alright, Ladowski raid. Fuck off. God damn it. Peace. God damn it. I'll see you guys on Saturday. I swear to God. I may as well just post it at this point. Yeah, alright. I'll do it too. For fuck's sake.